Whether you're new to gaming or have been enjoying video games all your life, great gaming is not only about having fun and escaping the stresses of everyday life, but also being there to pick up our teammates, especially when they're down.
Guardian down.
We're a Destiny 2 podcast that focuses on three things: promoting a positive gaming community, sharing news around the industry in Destiny 2, and discussing thought-provoking topics in the game. We're Guardian Downcast. Your stories, your community, and your destiny. What's up, Guardian? Welcome to episode 310 of Guardian Downcast. I'm your host, Todd the Gator, and I'm a Day One Guardian who loves gaming and especially the Destiny franchise. We're the podcast that's all about your stories, your community, and your destiny. This week, I'm back from a 2-week hiatus from our live shows, and to be honest, I was hoping that I didn't forget how to stream again. Maybe I did forget a little bit this before we started streaming tonight, but I wanted to give another big shout out to my UK brothers and sisters over in the United Kingdom from our Guardian Downcast community that I met up with when I was there last week. They were very excellent hosts to me, especially my brother Heyoka. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. In fact, I'm wearing my official elbow merch from the concert that I went to, watching them, and man, just those will be memories I'll never forget. So does that make sense? Anyway, my well-rested co-host, Kingsley Mack, is back with us here as well. How you doing, Mike?
I am. Hey, I'm glad to be here once again for episode 310.
Absolutely, man. Did you get plenty of rest? Plenty of hiatus as well from the live shows?
I rest fine, no matter if I'm podcasting or not, although I do think I'm coming down with a sickness today, but I am great for podcasting. If I can, don't mind me over here if I'm resting my head on my desk or not, but you will hear me great.
Yeah. He has to make a mad dash to the bathroom. That's why we'll keep his camera
not
off.
Not that type of sickness.
Okay, I got you. Well, for those of you who may have just discovered our podcast, we're a weekly gaming show with an emphasis on the Destiny franchise, and we like to sprinkle in some entertainment and other topics of discussion relating to our hobbies from time to time as well. But we've been producing audio episodes for nearly 6 years now, and now we do a live version of our show on YouTube, Twitch, and now our Discord stage channel, where you can interact with us in the chat live on our new day and time, which is Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, God's time. We'll also have a replay of tonight's show on my YouTube channel and my Twitch channel. And the audio version, obviously, is always available to all of us on our podcast directories out there. Or, like I said, you can go to our website, guardiandowncast.com, to listen to any of our episodes whenever you like. In this episode, we have another brand new guest of the show with us tonight. He's been a member of our GDC community for over a year now. I've raided and played some Iron Banner with this guy, and he's truly a good dude. And tonight, we're all going to get to know him a little bit better. So please welcome to the show, Tajo Trade. How you doing, sir?
Doing well. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely, man. I've been looking forward to this. We do one guest episode a month, and I was really looking forward to this one, man. So thanks. In this episode, we're going to first start off by sharing our impressions of the latest Bungie live stream we saw just this last Tuesday, and kind of give our highlights, things that we saw in the stream that we liked, and maybe stuff we didn't like so much. Next, we're going to turn to our guest, Tajo Trade, and just get to know him a little bit better. This is part of the podcast that I really love. Who is that gamer next to you in a fire team, right? I really believe once you know more about someone and get to see things kind of from their perspective, that there can be more mutual respect and understanding there. So I truly believe that. So we'll get the real truth, whether Tajo plays the correct character in Destiny 2 once and for all as well. And once we do that, I'll put Tajo through the paces of our fast fire question and answer segment that we've been doing for years now, the speed run. We'll also go over this week's Bungie blog, the TWAB, or the TWID, as some of us here call it, and highlight any important new information as well. Next, we have a topic of the week that Tajo Trade wanted to discuss with us, and I'm all in for it. So we'll get into that as our topic of the week segment. As we do nearly every week, we'll look to our Discord community for any questions for the show, and hopefully those of you with us live in our chat tonight will post any questions or comments that you have as well. As I mentioned in the past, we encourage you guys to speak up, Let us hear your opinions and thoughts. It's truly the reason why I love doing the live shows. So let's hear them. Don't be shy. Then finally, we're going to choose some music to add to our Guardian Downcast time capsule, our Guardian Downcast show playlist on Spotify and Apple Music. I'll have the links for the show notes down in our podcast description if you want to follow along to that. We're all rested and eager to podcast. So if everyone's ready, let's roll.
Hey, thanks for listening to Guardian Downcast. There are several ways you can contact us. First, you can find us on X at Guardian Downcast. Or you can find us on our Instagram at Guardian Downcast and see what pics and reels Todd the Gator and his podcast guests want to share with you guys. We have a brand new website too. Just visit guardiandowncast.com, where you can find all of our contact info, leave us a voicemail, give our show a rating or review, search for any past episodes, or even give back to our community. Also, don't forget to sign up for future updates to the show, where we'll also have random drawings throughout the year, and you may win a gift card or even some GDC merch. And finally, you can send us an email at guardiandowncast@gmail.com. Our community thrives on interaction, so get involved and check us out.
Let us get into, before we get into the interview tonight, I wanted to go around the horn here and talk to everyone about the live stream that we encountered this Tuesday from Bungie. And I don't know if anybody's been scouring the YouTube channels out there, but we've gotten a lot of interesting feedback from people who have been watching watched the live stream this last Tuesday, and some are pretty comical, in fact. But I just want to go around the horn here and just get our impressions from that latest live stream. And Kingsley, what are your initial thoughts once you finish watching this reveal? Let's start there.
Yeah, not just YouTube, but a lot of articles too, and community sentiment. If you look around,
yes,
but
yep.
I don't know. I was kind of honestly bored with the stream. I felt like, why did they show this type of stream? I would have been perfectly okay if they didn't have a stream and then just had the one next week, which is, from what they're saying they're going to show us, that one makes a little more sense to me. I mean, look, it's fine doing it, but the fact that they presented a lot of information we already knew and kind of that format again, where they're just sitting on the couch, just kind of like, yeah, like it's definitely different from before when we had like packed new information in the streams, and then maybe a little bit of question and answer at the end. I don't know, just real quick. The information in general this year has been very weird how they presented it to us, from releasing a majority of it to streamers ahead of time and then giving us a lot of repeat information in twids and streams with little new tidbits of information here and there, but it makes it really hard to kind of disseminate like, okay, this is the new piece of information. Like the one new thing in this, kind of this last stream was the new heavy legendary crossbow thing. It's like, there was a little bit more, to be fair, but it's kind of like a lot of this we already got to do. So I was kind of watching in the background, no big deal. I wasn't mad that they had the stream. And some people did the joke like, this could have been an email. The jokes like, why do we have meetings? Just send it in an email. Yeah, this could have been an email, Bungie. We didn't need it.
I heard all kinds of comments. It was pretty funny, actually. Tajo, what do you think, man? Just initial impressions. What do you think about it?
Initial thoughts are pretty aligned with Kingsley. Like, it seemed like it was a bunch of stuff we already knew about. It could have easily been put into a twid. In the little bit that they shown wasn't really anything that you really needed to see. Like, they had the people in the shooting gallery behind them just kind of messing around. It didn't really add to anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I could have just listened to it. I didn't have to watch it. So it seems almost like a waste.
There were some highlights that I did like from it. I mean, I was expecting a lot more, obviously, but I kind of like the way that they're, they usually with any new content that Bungie's releasing, they usually have one giant like info dump. And, usually what we have to do is we have to go back to YouTube and replay it several times and kind of analyze what exactly they said. But This one was so short. I think it was 40 minutes, maybe, if that. And they focused on one area of the game. That was the Armor 3.0. And, they mentioned all the new exotics, which we already got in a TWAB. Thought that was kind of odd that they were kind of talking about stuff that they already talked about in the TWAB. And you're going to find out in this week's top TWAB that they're again talking about things that they've already talked about before, either from the live stream or from a previous TWAB. So, one thing I did like, there's not many things to pull here, but I did write a few notes. I was jotting down notes as I was watching the live stream, and I like this new ammo system. They're of course showing an old strike. I'm like, why are they showing old stuff? But that's fine. I don't mind going in dark. But this ammo generation system they have, which we got to see in action, as they're playing this strike, I kind of like it. I kind of like that we have determined amount of. We know when the ammo is going to drop, at least for us, right? I mean, if we put, hopefully we'll still have Ammo Scout mods on where we can drop it for our teammates as well. But yeah,
we already know that too.
We kind of did, but at least we get to see, I got to see it in action a little bit,
See it, yeah.
That part I did like. But let me see. I'm looking at my notes here. Is there anything else I liked?
I'm telling you, pretty much the main new thing was the crossbow.
Yeah, and the crossbow had different types of bolts. I remember hearing about that. And yeah, that was cool that there's a serrated bolt that when you pull it out does more damage. Okay. And the fact that the crossbow has unlimited ammo if you want to go and get it. It's kind of like the Titan hammer, right? If you want to go chase a Titan hammer, you can have unlimited Titan hammers. If it doesn't, they give you so much time and it blows up. But I mean, I'm trying to be positive here, man. Everyone has been shitting on this game, and I'm like, it's not all that bad, guys. But I there wasn't a lot in this live stream that. Okay, all right. Here's one thing. They did start off with a Vidoc, and you know how I love Vidocs, man. And they talked about Kepler, at least some parts of the new Kepler world that's coming. But if anything, that Vidoc left me more questions in my head than answers. I don't know. Is Kepler a whole planet, or is it just? Are we just going to go through the portal through it? That's it. I'm a little confused now on what Kepler actually is, and the Vidoc is supposed to clear that up, right? So I'm a little confused here, but I did love that they opened with a Vidoc. It just wasn't, we have some really good Vidocs that we saw in the past Bungie live streams. And this one was, well, it was kind of terse. It was kind of short, any other highlights you guys can come up with? Or, I guess we'll just dump into it. Anything that you had to say about it? I guess the floor's open, I guess.
I want to agree with you on the ammo thing, being able to see that progress bar and know it's like, hey, if I get one more kill, I'll get my heavy ammo, so, before we start DPS, let me just kill this last guy.
Right.
Like having a visual representation, I think is awesome. And another thing to be clear is I didn't think it was a bad stream. There just wasn't really anything to it I thought was worth going out of my way to watch it. I don't want people to, add on to the everything that it's been going through.
Yeah.
It just, like I said, it could have easily been a twit,
We know with the ammo, I'm assuming when you get that last kill, should a brick just drop at that spot? I don't know if they showed that in the stream or not, but I'm curious,
I'm assuming it'll drop wherever the kill or whatever
where
happens.
the kill is, yeah, that last spot.
Like it does now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see something weird potentially where your ammo builds up and then you have to do some other kill and then maybe it wouldn't drop where you expect, but hopefully, I would assume it probably drops where that last kill is.
Yeah. I'm assuming as soon as it hits 100%, it drops and starts over. I don't think it's like 100% and then that 1% to push it over,
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know there's a lot we can say about it that is more negative. I
On that point, real quick, first of all,
Yeah, go ahead.
we don't have to be positive to not be negative.
Yeah, that's a good point. We're not.
You know
it's
what I mean?
not that we're being, and you can't say we're being toxic because we're longtime Destiny players. I've been here since day one, since they had the beta, and you've been here shortly thereafter, Kingsley. So we love this game, man. We want to get excited for it, but I'm going to be honest here. I'm kind of lukewarm to this. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm definitely going to grind it. I mean, I have some more notes here, but go ahead on your point, Kingsley. Sorry.
That's why you should have had expectations. What I did all along, I had pretty low expectations, and then I'm not disappointed for whatever comes out.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think a lot of people kept their expectations too high. They kept telling us less content, this, and this. You know, so anything they can do to make things better will be a bonus in my eyes. Yeah. But remember, the price is lower this year than last year too, so we are getting less content. It's $80 for everything versus $100. So
Rise of Iron, right? Rise of Iron size. We've been through Rise of Iron. I thought that was a good expansion. Honestly.
Not really. You must not remember too much.
I don't know. It was right
because
before
Rise
the big
of Iron
break.
didn't add really a new planet. It just added a small new area of the plague land.
It added the artifacts, though. I mean, I love that artifact system they had. It was kind of a prelude.
We're not getting,
no new world.
Yeah.
But the campaign was fun. You know, the Siva campaign, I thought that was really fun. Oh, that was really cool.
Well, they're talking about size. We don't know if it'll be fun or not. I assume the campaign will be fun, though. That's almost always, like for me, I'm trying to think, even the people that the worst campaign, in my eyes, I know a lot of people complained about Lightfall, but I think that was more the after just being confused. Yeah. But from what I remember, the most complaints actually was Shadowkeep. Like there was a lot of confusion and the campaign wasn't necessarily fun. At least that's what I remember. Yeah, I still had fun with that campaign. So I'm not worried I'll have fun with this campaign. I just know, and I have my expectations set that there's not going to be a lot of content. Yeah. I hope I'm wrong, but that's what that's kind of what's on the books. So,
well, regardless of how the reveal went, I am looking forward to jumping back in and doing things under this new system. In a way, and this is a hot take, I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of shit for this. It feels like a Destiny 3 to me because there's all new systems. I have to reevaluate all my weapons I have now and the armor that I have now. I mean, we don't really know where we stand yet as far as, we don't really know what our current gear is actually going to be any good or how good it is going to be. And how does it translate into this new tier system, because, they said that they're going to translate our gear, but the new values will be different. We do know?
Kind of know.
Kind of like, okay.
Sorry, go ahead, Tajo.
Yeah, I mean, I can answer that right now because they say it in the TWID later. Your stats are a 1-to-1 change.
1.1.
So the order will be the same.
Right.
But as far as tier-wise, a lot of our stats right now are in the mid-high 60s. So that's tier 3, tier 4 right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, going into TWID later, you can get a little bit more into it, but it's nice that they gave you those definitive numbers of like, hey, if your stat value is this, this is what tier you're in.
Right.
Well, I was going to mention,
go ahead.
But I think it'll make more sense to say for the TWID as we have talking points there. But at the end of this discussion, I was originally going to bring up, to me, one of the most interesting things that maybe we don't know how it's going to turn out, but it might be slightly controversial. I think I'll have fun with it, but is the new seasonal featured weapons and armor, because they're going to get bonuses. But Bungie decided to talk more about that again in the TWID today, so I'll just save it for then.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to tell you what, though. I did want to make a comment about the Rite of the Nine. I'll be honest, compared to Into the Light last year, if we were looking at this time last year before Final Shape dropped, I really haven't participated much in the Rite of the Nine because, one, I don't know how good these weapons are going to be once we get into Edge of Fate and the drops we're getting. And you can say, well, yeah, there's some of these weapons are going to be good, but they're not. I'm not motivated enough to go and try to farm these weapons when I know a whole new system is going to be coming out, and the fact the tier system kicks in with the new, like you said, Kingsley, the new seasonal weapons that are coming. Two, this activity takes a lot of time to get into and get to the end to reap the rewards. Even in Explorer mode, completing dungeons takes time. And, they have many mechanics like the raids do. And even though, we can solo them, let's face it, the dungeons were designed for 3 Guardians, not 1. I mean, I sure can sit there and grind out from trial and error to finally get to the end, get the end, rewards and stuff. But I just don't have the time to invest into that every night. Plus my above point. I don't know how good these weapons are going to be in the next expansion. With so much about our gear kind of unknown. In fact, that they're already kind of pushing it that the new gear is going to be the ones with these new tier systems built in. I don't know. I just can't quantify anything until they flip that switch into the new system. I just can't get motivated about playing it. I mean, I think this was a fail from Bungie, and if their objective was to get more Guardians playing the new activity to build hype going into this next chapter of Destiny 2, Into the Light was much better. It was much faster gameplay. You could jump in and solo, or you could just mess around, get a chest or two between the, levels. It was very, very quick rewards. And, but this is why I'm a little more excited to see next week's stream about the portal system, because the solo ops is what I'm focused on. Of course, the campaign on Legend, that'll be day one, of course. That's how we're going to get our armor and stuff. But that day one feeling of figuring out, what do I need to do to quickly get to that 200 power, then 300, and then the cap at 450? That's what gets me excited to play. I've jumped into a bunch of Legend and Master Lost sectors in the past, but there's really not a worthy reward at them right now. So I'm hoping that this new customizable portal system for solo ops will get me those rewards worth jumping into, even more difficult content for an hour or so. But the Rite of the Nine, it's just been a bust for me. And it's too bad, because I love everything about the 9. I'm looking forward to learning more about the new story and chapter of Destiny 2. Please, Bungie, you do have a story, right? Just making sure. Because I didn't really see I didn't really see much gameplay that was new in the reveal. But I'm also okay being somewhat, spoiler free going into this. So it's
much more nuanced than that, I feel like, because we've had some discussions about this. It's not the discussion of being spoiler free, because even in previous years where we've been, quote, spoiler free, they've still shown us more by now. They've shown us strikes. They've shown us different things, and not like spoiling the whole activity, just like little tidbits. But it's okay to feel that about Rite of the Nine. Most people feel that way. I know there's a lot of people who love dungeons, and I'm not pushing them down. And to be fair, I think you can solo them. Greg, did you know that if you go in solo, the bosses take less DPS than if you go in with a team of 3 on beginner mode?
Yeah.
So it's really not as bad as you think.
Yeah.
But that also being said, people aren't generally excited. One last piece of news, and then, we'll talk about all our opinions on other things. Pre-order sales are down 50% right now compared to last year at the same point. And this is going kind of with my prediction. I told you all along, I bet we will have 50 to 75% of what we had with Final Shape hit it on day one. So,
Go ahead, Tajo.
It is what it is.
Touching on the Rite of the Nine. So I actually took a break last year from Into the Light. I didn't play any of it at all. So I don't have anything to compare this to.
Okay.
But even doing that, I think what killed this event for me was how they started it with the time gating. When they explained it, I was like, okay, we pick a dungeon, we run through it, we focus our gear, that's great. And then they're like, no, it's 3 weeks, one dungeon. You got to wait each week to get a new quest. And I was like, and then they rolled it back to 2 weeks and all that. They made changes, but it kind of lost all that momentum for me. And I did each dungeon at least once, but Explorer mode was great.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, running through an entire dungeon by yourself, the traversal just kills it.
It still takes time.
I want to fight the boss. I want to fight the boss, learn the mechanic. I don't care about the traversal part.
Yeah.
Especially on Ghost.
It's
so long.
It is.
But, and then I'll do, on the middle and higher difficulty, right? But, so the Explorer mode, I'm like, well, let me do a match made, make it a little bit quicker. But then there's no communication. So you're like in Prophecy, you're collecting the motes.
Right.
I'll kill somebody, collect 2 motes, and then the teammate steals the other 2, and then they take the other 3 from another guy. So I'm just left here holding motes for no reason because there's no communication.
It's the age-old problem with with trying to put fire teams together for raids and dungeons, even because there has to be some amount of communication.
And like Into the Light with the activity that it brought, I can't remember the name of it right now, but there's really no communication involved. You hop in there, you defend the objective, you kill the bad guys,
right?
And it's a lot faster. Like you're in and out. You can do the 10 wave, 50 wave,
right?
Like I don't know. It seemed like a better activity. Mm-hmm. This dungeon activity, I feel like would have been better if from the get-go you could kind of like choose your path. Right. It's like I want to do this dungeon and then this dungeon.
Well, but they're opening up now.
I think they fumble. You're right, but I mean it's kind of too late. Like I've already pulled back.
I agree.
I've pulled back from the game a lot. I'm not going to go in for like the next couple of weeks just to run a dungeon over and over and over.
Yep.
And then like you said, the weapons, they aren't really worth it to me just because the perk rolls aren't good.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple standouts, but overall, the perks just aren't good together. It's not worth it.
Yeah, that's the bigger thing. It's not so much how they will translate over, in my opinion. It's just the weapons are not that great in the first place. They're just okay.
Right. And we already have weapons that are very similar to those. Like the area of denial frames and stuff. I've already got a bunch of those that I like to use. I don't know. It's to me, I tried the explore mode and I didn't do it on Ghost, thank God. But I mean, it was nice that it explained the how everything worked. But the problem is you had to sit there and get killed while reading the prompts on the screen. There was no way to pause the game and read it and go, okay, I need to do what now? Okay, this, I need to connect these conduits. Yeah, okay, I get that. Okay. But no, it's a live game and you're sitting there hiding while trying to get close to these, anyway, I think it was good that Bungie did this. It's a good step in the right direction, but it sure would have been nice to have shorter things that even us solo players could just jump in. When I was in the UK, you know what I did every night in Destiny? I just ran and did weapon bounties, just little mindless things just to be involved with Destiny and just play Destiny. I was playing it on my little laptop in the hotel room using Wi-Fi.
Your homework.
Yeah, I was doing homework. So, but that's what I like to do. I like to just do some mindless stuff, just killing aliens and feeling good about it. And when I hear dungeon, I'm thinking, okay, that's solo dungeon. That's going to take at least an hour. And if I'm not familiar with the dungeon, I've only got one run on most dungeons. That's going to be even longer because I'm going to have to relearn the dungeons because I haven't played them in a while. So to me, it was a big turnoff. I got my free gear that they gave us. Thank you. But other than that, I really haven't done a ton of Ride in the 9. And it's been probably partly because I've just been so busy with work and stuff, but it's kind of tough when you've been working all day and you're exhausted and creating content. Wilhelm Scream, he knows all about that. He's in the chat. He makes a ton of content every week and on YouTube, and it takes time to do all that stuff. And it takes away from your game playing time. And when I decide to sit down and play Destiny, I'm going to go to the things that I like to do and the things that give me immediate, dopamine hit, and that's it. So, but Wilhelm Scream says it should have been just a series of dungeon bosses you fight. Yeah, like the Pantheon. Exactly. Like really short, quick, quick strike encounters and you're done. But the fact you have to run the whole dungeon again, even if solo and even on Explorer mode where they make it easy and they put training wheels on you, it still takes a lot of time to do. So that was the only turnoff. I just wanted to mention that because I know they got Lootapalooza coming soon where they're going to start giving a bunch of extra loot and stuff for doing it. But hey, before we get into talking with Tajo and asking him some questions a little bit about himself, I want to catch up and see what everybody's been up to. Obviously, I've been in the UK. I've been busy, talking with our Guardian Downcast members over there across the pond. But I did watch a couple movies I just wanted to mention real quick. My wife and I went to something we haven't done in a long time. Is we actually went to a double feature movie. We saw two movies back to back just yesterday. Using, of course, my AMC Stubs A-list membership. And first movie we saw was Life of Chuck. It's from Steven Spielberg. It's based on the novella written from Stephen King. And the movie got a 89% certified fresh from critics. And the audience was more lukewarm. They were like 64%. this movie kind of took me by surprise. I thought it was going to be something different from Steven Spielberg, but he kept everything pretty vague when he was trying to promote this movie. It was very vague. The previews on this movie were very vague. And I was actually confused on what was going on during the movie, because it's one of those 3-act movies. It starts with Act 3, winds down to Act 1. And I was a little confused on how those acts actually went together. But at the end, I sort of kind of said, okay, now I realize what this movie is about. But it wasn't what I thought. And it wasn't, I don't know. My wife liked it more than me, but I give this one 3.5 stars. It was good, but not great. If you decide to watch it, let me know if you agree. But it was actually a very poetic movie in a good way. But I was expecting something else. Then after that, we immediately jumped into the Dolby Theater and saw 28 Years Later. This is the sequel to 28 Days Later, which was back in 2002. It's based in the UK. How there's they have a rage virus that just immediately, if you get bitten by these raged people that are infected, you become basically a zombie, a crazy fast hyper zombie. It's like Call of Duty zombies on steroids. And these zombies, Danny Boyle is really good at making these zombies actually scary. And they had like super zombies that were like called alphas that actually pulled a man's spine that was alive out of his body and just kind of hanging. It was pretty scary stuff. But we did watch it in the Dolby. Like I said, it was good sound and stuff. But this one I gave closer to 4 stars because it was actually very entertaining and very good. And I am going to be seeing F1 with Brad Pitt and Javier Bardem next week. I'll let you guys know what I think about that. But other than playing some Iron Banner on Monday nights like I normally do, that has been my week because I just got back on Saturday. So I'm just curious, what have you guys been up to this week?
Question for you.
Yeah, Tajo.
I'm guessing you didn't play any Clair Obscur?
I did not. You
know how I know you didn't?
Because you didn't.
You know how I know?
I don't know.
Because if you did, it's such a good game, you would have DM'd me how much you're enjoying it.
I downloaded it. I actually tried out Game Pass. I got Game Pass for PC. I actually got the preview one, the one where you can try for a month for $1 or something. And it's like $11.99 a month after that. I went ahead and it's been downloaded and everything, and I'm still going to play it. I have a feeling I'm going to have a couple of weeks to do it, going up until Destiny here, because you can't believe you because you can't you can't do any bounty prep. They already told you the bounties are going to be useless. When you decide.
Yeah, you were still doing bounties.
Oh, I'm doing bounties. No, main reason I'm doing bounties is because my second character in my GDC2 clan, I don't have him all the way maxed out on the season pass. I'm just trying to get some XP.
If Todd actually does play the game, should I delete a bunch of stuff in Destiny?
I don't know. I'm going to have hey, remember now, Borderlands 4 is coming out too this summer. So we're going to have a couple of really good games to play. And then of course
talking about that sometime.
I know, but Clair Obscur, I'm going to play it. It's downloaded, man. It's already there waiting.
Anyways, sorry. No, I only mentioned that because.
Well, no. Hold on a second.
I knew you didn't play it because it's such a good game. I haven't talked to anyone who hasn't loved it. Okay. So if you actually played it, you would have DM'd me. I know you would have.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna that's touche. I'm gonna ask you, have you been watching Andor?
No. I didn't say I would though.
Oh, I know. I'm just curious. What if you watched.
You said you would play Clair Obscur.
I did. I you know what it was, Kingsley? I would come home. I mean, every day we were in the UK, we did something all day. And I tell you what, if you've ever driven in the UK, you're mentally exhausted when you get home because you have to learn how to drive all over again. And not only just the left, everyone says, oh, it's just left-hand side of the road. No. There's all new signs. You got roundabouts, 4-lane roundabouts. They call them spiral roundabouts. It's crazy. You start in the middle lane and you spiral eventually into the outside lane and hope that no one hits you. I'm telling you, I was mentally exhausted when I got home.
I don't understand why, but people always like over prep for vacations. Like they bring like crossword puzzles, they bring like extra games, and like you don't have time for all that shit. Like
you're so tired when you get home. I literally had basically an hour before I just passed out. In fact, one night I was playing bounties and I actually caught myself asleep. Woke up and I think my character was on Cosmodrome or something, about to fall off the ledge or something. I don't know. It was nuts. But what have you been up to, Kingsley, this week?
So you're a good company with HD Tech if he's in the chat.
I think I saw him in there. I think I saw HD in there. Yeah.
I mean, entertainment-wise, nothing too interesting. Yeah. So ran some really great raids with people in the community these last couple of weeks, as always. Nothing really too interesting to share there, but I do have some, I won't talk about it right now, but I do have some interesting ideas of some raids I want to run coming up in these next couple of weeks, and maybe we can get a crew together. You know, we kind of had a DM chat about it, but other than that, I've been not busy, but not like really interested to watch a lot of TV or movies right now. I will finally be doing our Vegas trip finally that second week of July.
Ooh, so, right during the release?
Yeah.
Oof.
No, that's the third week.
Okay. So we got basically 2.5 weeks until the Edge of Fate drops. So yeah. Okay.
Yep. So, so boring for me otherwise, but yeah, anything interesting for you, Tajo?
Yeah, Tajo.
No, not really. Just normal work and life stuff. I haven't played a lot of Destiny, honestly. I've taken quite a big step back, just waiting for the new release to come out.
Yeah.
I'm playing a lot of Pokemon on like the Switch and stuff.
Okay.
I ran a raid like 2 weeks ago or a week ago, I can't remember, with Alley Kate and Kelvin and a few other people from the community.
Good raiders.
But outside of that, really nothing. You know, it's almost like a stalemate. I'm just waiting for the next thing to come.
I got you. Okay. Well, we're going to take a short break here, and when we come back, we're going to hear a little bit more about Tajo. Hey, just a quick reminder that we have several Destiny 2 clans, and we invite all of you to be a part of it. If you're looking for a home to share your Destiny experiences, now be a great time to jump in and get to know some of these great gamers. We're here for the community and friends you make along the way, and no hardcore restrictions. And enjoy what time you have for Destiny is all we ask. So if you're looking for a clan out there, join our Discord. That's discord.gg/GuardianDownCast, and just reach out to a mod, and we'll open the door for you. So join us, and later, Guardian. Well, Tajo Trade. Let's start out with this. Where's this podcast find you tonight?
I am in southern Indiana, close to the Kentucky border. Kind of been here my whole life.
Okay. What do you do for a living, sir?
I am a truck driver / warehouse worker. You know, I do a little bit of both. Could do more of one than I do the other, depending on the day. Today, I spent most of my day in the truck, you know, driving to Indianapolis and back. Other days, I'm stuck in the warehouse most of the time. It just depends.
I know Indianapolis pretty well. I've gone up there plenty of summers for my wife's grandmother. She used to pay her way up there, the flight, so we could help her out during the summer and visit. Lots of good memories, summer times in Indiana. You married, have kids?
Yeah, married 7 years later this year.
Nice. Congrats.
And I have 6 cats. You've probably seen a couple of them run behind me occasionally.
Those are referred to as fur babies, sir.
Fur babies, yeah, exactly.
I got you. When did you first get into video games? Did you do it as a kid, or were you a late bloomer? Where'd that start?
Yeah, no, they were pretty much always in my life. As far back as I can remember, I can, imagine myself playing something.
Okay. What was your first game? Just curious.
I don't know what my first game is. My most prominent early game, it's not my first, but it's my most prominent, is playing Starsky and Hutch on the original Xbox.
Nice, man. Nice. How did you actually find Destiny? And when did you start playing Destiny? What would you consider yourself?
Well, I've been around since the beginning, but I don't consider myself that way because I don't remember the beginning very well, and I haven't, I played that, and then I took a really long break. I think I played the first year, maybe 2 that Destiny was out, and then I didn't get back into it to Destiny 2 until a month or a couple weeks right before Lightfall. So I basically just say I came in at Lightfall, but I have played the original.
Did you do any Destiny 1 raids?
Yeah, good point.
No, absolutely not. No.
Is there a memory that kind of brings a smile to your face from playing early times in Destiny or now?
Yeah, I think my most earliest, happiest memory was when I finally started interacting with the community here. Uh, it was Trash Panda and Mullet. They took me through
A
Ghost
dungeon?
of the Deep for the first time. Yeah,
They did me as well.
yeah, of course, a dungeon. Yeah,
Yep.
they're Dungeon Thursdays. I remember those.
I was
But
part of
that
that.
was my first interaction with like a community member, and it was great. Like he kind of took me under his wing. He helped me learn how to do Hunter a little bit more, and it's just a good time.
Yeah, Ryan was a good dude. I don't know. I think he's taking a break from gaming now, but hopefully we'll see him back soon. Yeah, he was a great Sherpa. He's a great Sherpa, that's for sure.
Yeah.
What character in the game do you like most and why? It could be an NPC. It could be anybody.
Well, if I'm being honest, none of them, because I don't pay attention to them. I'm not a campaign person. I skip anything I'm allowed to skip. So if you give me the option, I'm skipping through it. I don't care what it is.
Okay.
And when I can't skip something, I get annoyed and I refuse to pay attention to it.
Okay.
So, but if you want me to choose somebody, I'll probably just go with Zavala.
Okay.
Just because he seems very straight and narrow, no nonsense type of person.
You're the anti-Kingsley. I didn't think I'd ever find someone like you out there. Yeah, Kingsley likes to discover. He likes the story.
It's more about like running the missions. That I assume you mean more the cutscenes because you can't skip missions. Right.
Yeah. Well, even the missions, I try to just blow through because I don't care about it. I just want to get done so I can get everything else opened up so I can do stuff.
Right.
And it's not just Destiny. It's any game that I play. I don't want to watch anything. I just want to play the game.
But do you not consider the campaigns playing the game? Is there like you prefer more PvP or what's kind of your? Sorry if this is a question later, Todd. What's your favorite thing to do in the game?
Yeah, it's a good question.
As far as Destiny or like just
activities. Yeah, like activities.
So I just like the PvE. I'm not real big on PvP because it feels like, I know this is controversial, especially for Utah. It doesn't feel like there's an end goal, or I'm only playing myself, right? So there's no way for me to get better. Like I am how I am.
Okay.
If I beat somebody, I didn't beat them. They just, they missed their shots or something. I hit more than they did. I prefer PvE because it's a lot easier for me to assess where I am, what I'm doing. The rewards tend to be better, and then it's just more fun and satisfying. I don't have to stress about anything. I can try it again over and over. It's not constantly changing.
Right.
And usually quicker.
And there's also this thing about most enemies in PvE don't use lag switchers or modded controllers or X-ray cheats and all that other stuff too. It's a pretty honest game. You pretty much are straight up playing the game.
So you have to teleport.
Yeah, exactly. Well, okay, I'll give them that. But yeah, those captain teleports are a pain in the ass. But so I take it you're mainly a solo player when you jump in.
Mainly, yeah. Just because I like the freedom of hopping in and out when I want to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to like plan around anything.
I got you.
Yeah.
How did you originally find our community? By the way, I always ask people that because I like to know where people are trying to find us.
Yeah, I first found you on Spotify.
Okay.
When I really get into something, I like just obsessing with it and listening and watching as much as possible. And so when I was stuck at work, I just wanted something to listen to and found you guys.
Yeah, King Tut, I'm talking about PvE enemies, not the guardians that have net limiters. No, I know what you mean by that, but trying to get those DPS numbers in. But yeah, big question here. Do you do bounties?
I did. I don't really do them anymore. When I first
All right.
started, it was great to kind of help me have something to do. It was kind of like a lead to follow. Like, hey, do these things, get the experience, level up, kind of learn your way around the map. But now I don't mess with them because I don't ever need the experience, and that's pretty much all they give.
Yeah, it is.
I don't need enhancement cores because I have like 4, 5 full stacks of enhancement
I
cores.
wish I had that many.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's going to be. Believe me,
they're not worth it.
It's not going to be enhancement cores next enhancement or next expansion. It's going to be these special cores. I can't remember the name of them, but that'll be the bottleneck. Bungie always loves to make a bottleneck, something that you can't just stock up on them, and they make you go out and farm to get these materials in order to upgrade a node on something. It just is so annoying sometimes.
To be fair, it's not just Bungie. All games rightfully will
You're
have
right.
some kind of
it's a mechanic.
Yeah. Because that's how economies work. You're not supposed
Right.
to give everything away easy. Some things are supposed to be harder to get, and you got to temper yourself and use them a little bit less than normal.
But just give me a path to get them. I mean, like, I'm not going to go down that road. Sorry. I'm not going to go down that road. This is about Tajo, not about Gator. Are you a Titan Hunter or Warlock main?
I switch between. I started as a Warlock for a solid year or so.
Okay.
And then I went to Hunter for about 6 to 8 months, and now I am stuck on Titan.
Yeah, I pictured you as a Titan. I don't know why, I just did.
It definitely feels the most comfortable to me is being on Titan.
Dorath, don't start. He says, Todd, you would have plenty of cores in your vault if you didn't have 5 or 6 of the same weapon masterworked. You don't play PvP, sir. You need all the rolls you can get, and masterworking is the only way you can level them up.
Or people worry about it too much.
I have so many cores that everything that I get now, I just immediately fully masterwork, and I just can't get rid of the cores fast enough as I earn them.
I wish I had that problem. Now, you see what the problem is, though, is they're running away from weapon crafting, so now we have to enhance everything, which just to me, anyway, to me, it's just such a waste because you'll put all these materials and enhancing this weapon, and then what if next season the sandbox changes up and Headseeker isn't that great? Then you've put you've invested
the new featured weapons. That's what they want you to do.
I know. Well, I know that's basically soft sunsetting. I know. I'm not an idiot. I know what Bungie's doing here. They're making us basically move all the. There's a reason that the vault isn't getting bigger. I don't care what they say.
Started the conversation.
I don't care what they say. They're gonna want us to slowly start deleting our old stuff, and I'm gonna fight it tooth and nail. I will. Curious.
Hey, that's not an issue for me.
Yeah.
Because I've completely deleted my vault and characters twice now.
Wait a minute.
Like, even right now.
Well, that negates the question I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you, what is one weapon in your vault that you will refuse to delete and why? So you've deleted everything?
Yeah, multiple times. Right now, I have less than 50. It's less than 1 page in my vault. So, I mean, if I need to, I can take everything and put it on each character. It'd be
fun.
You're
stressing me out. You're stressing me out, man. Okay.
I don't hold any sentiment towards it. Like I can re-earn anything. They'll have newer stuff.
It's a good way to live life. I can pretty much guarantee you we're less stressed than you, Todd.
No more raids, Allocate. No more raids on my vault. You already eliminated 100 of them. I lost a bet earlier this season. This is a good question. Someone asked it a long time ago, and I just stole it. If Bungie assigned you a small but versatile dev team, only to you, what would you work on for the future of this game?
Honestly, kind of what they're doing right now is just the simple quality of life stuff.
Okay.
Like Tut was saying in the chat, like a way to organize your vault better, or organize your shaders, or just simple things like that go a long way.
I got you. A few signature questions here to wrap up. Do you have other hobbies other than gaming?
Yeah, I got too many hobbies.
I knew it.
I like I like playing any sport under the sun. I don't like watching a lot of sports, but I'll play just about anything.
Nice.
I recently got into golfing, which
Yes.
is great. I didn't realize how rough it is on your hands, though. Like, my hands were tore up.
Got to wear a
And
golf
then,
glove on your right hand if you're right-handed.
Yeah, but I was going for my first time. I didn't really know what to expect. I did good though, but it was
Yeah.
I tore my hands up. But I do golfing, disc golfing, fishing, basketball, football. I mean, any type of sport really.
I like it, man. Keeping busy, keeping active. That's the key. It's funny. I play golf. I'm in a golfing league with a buddy of mine who pulled me in tooth and nail. We play every Wednesday afternoon if we don't get rained on. I actually birdied a par 5 yesterday, and because I'm getting 2 strokes, because my handicap's enormous, I got an albatross. I've never heard of that before, but I got an albatross, that is basically getting a par 5 in 1 stroke. No, that can't be right. Anyway, so you get little moments like that just are like, oh, I could actually be good at this. It makes you come back and keep playing. It's that forever level of improvement you're always trying to get better at. But if the weather's nice, like up in Indiana right now, it's probably a good time to golf right now. The summers are nice and breezy. No? Well, I know it's hot right now, but
Not right now.
the typical summers are like 70 degrees in Indiana. I've been up there. It's like 70 to 80 degrees. 70 to 80. And 50 at night.
More 80 to 90.
Oh, it's gotten hotter, huh? It's been a while since I've been there.
It doesn't. Yeah, it usually we're about 85 to 95 actually.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Typically.
Okay. Another signature question is Tajo trade, dude? What's up with that gamer tag? I still don't know what that means.
So Tajo is a combination of my first and last name. I just took a couple letters from each and put them together. A lot of people think it's Tajo, like it's like a Spanish name or something.
Mhm.
It's not. It's just Tajo. And then trade is a combination of my 3 brothers' names.
Wow.
And I went with this because my brother died like 5 years ago now.
Oh.
And I was trying to think of a new name because I didn't like my other one. It was a little childish. And I was like, well, let me just do, Tajo, and then I'll put my brothers in there with me. So it has like a sentimental value to it.
I like that. That way, every time someone says your name, you'll remember your brother. I like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've heard that in a gamer tag. I actually dig that. Do you have a motto or mantra that you live by? A motto or mantra?
Yeah. I have 2 main ones. The first one isn't really like a motto or anything. It's just a quote from a movie that has always stuck with me. And it's from The Sandlot. It's when Babe Ruth comes to the room and he says, heroes get remembered, but legends never die. Follow your heart, kid, and you can never go wrong. That's like my favorite quote, I think, of all time.
Okay.
So you go with what your gut, whatever makes you feel better at the end of the day.
Right.
And then my other one is that no matter what happens, time is going to keep going and you're going to make it through it. So try not to stress everything, just take it one beat at a time and the end of the day will come.
I like that. It's a good way to look at things. Excellent. Well, my last question is the one that I dig the most. What is one thing about you that maybe our community might not know about you?
The biggest unknown thing about me, and the most unique probably, is that I have a medical condition where all of my internal organs are flipped. So like my heart is on my right side of the body instead of the left.
Okay.
And like all the other organs are flipped as well.
Okay. That's pretty cool. I mean, you're different. Give you that.
Yeah,
You're
literally.
unique.
Literally. Yeah.
So you have to let a doctor know every time they look at you, doc, the stethoscope goes on the other side. That's pretty cool.
No, I usually don't say anything.
Really? They figure it out. Well,
Yeah.
that makes them a good doctor, I guess. That's a good test. Nice. I like it. Well,
It doesn't impact my life in any significant way,
Yes,
so I usually don't even have to mention it.
let's see. So your liver's on the other side?
Yeah, every organ it's like a mirror image.
Wow.
Yeah, every
Okay.
organ is opposite.
That's pretty cool. Okay. Very nice. All right. Well, thank you, Tajo, for sharing your life with us tonight, man. I feel like I got to know you a little bit more, but that's not all, because we need to put you through your paces of our fast fire question and answer segment.
Call the Praxic Order, call the Thanatonauts, the Ginseng Scribes, call everyone so they can witness you.
This segment is called the Speed Run. I've handpicked 25 questions from a pool of over 1,000 that people have submitted to us over the years from our community. They're quick, simple questions to get to know our guests at an even deeper level. No time limit, no contest, just quick questions and answers. And I think Kingsley has one at the end for you too. So if you're ready, Tajo, you ready to go? Ready to do it?
I lost audio for a second. We're good now.
Okay. All right, here we go. Number 1, morning person or night owl?
Morning person.
Okay. Chick-fil-A or Popeyes?
Chick-fil-A. I've only had Popeyes once, and I was too young to remember it.
Okay. What is your favorite Destiny exotic? It could be from either Destiny game.
Kvastov.
Nice. Okay. If you could,
like the exotic version.
Yeah, I got you. If you could choose, who would voice your ghost?
Sam Jackson.
I like it. All right. Void, Solar, Arc, Stasis, or Strand?
Arc.
Okay. Definitely a Titan. Pulse, hand cannon, scout, or auto rifle?
Auto rifle.
Okay. So you're going to definitely use that vest. That
No.
No? It's going to work. Oh, okay.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
What is your favorite breakfast? What is or was your favorite breakfast cereal? Because it could be from childhood.
Probably. Yeah, I haven't ate that in so long. Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Good choice. What was one of the first music albums you listened to? Maybe a deep cut.
Yeah, the earliest one I can remember is Trapped, and it was the one where like the cover was him like mowing the lawn.
I love Trap.
Yeah.
That's a great group.
Yeah.
What's the worst job you've ever had?
Telemarketer.
Oh, gotcha. What is your beverage of choice?
I really like Monsters, so probably Monster. We'll go with that.
Energy. Okay. Stealth or guns blazing?
I like going stealth, but probably guns blazing because I'll get bored.
Okay. Sweet or salty, and what is your favorite snack based on that answer?
Sweet, definitely. I have a horrible sweet tooth.
Me too.
Pretty much any type of cake is, going to hit the spot.
See, I just went through birthdays.
Especially cold.
Oh,
it has to be cold cake.
What, like ice cream cake?
No. Like
Refrigerated.
just like sitting in the refrigerator.
Okay,
Yeah,
I like that because the icing's nice and firm. I like that too.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't like warm desserts typically.
Okay. All right. Are Guardians spoiled, or does Bungie spoil the players?
I think Guardians are spoiled. I mean, they have magic at their fingertips, I mean,
They don't realize how good they got it. Okay. What is your favorite Destiny planet?
Cosmodrome, just because it's kind of like the first one you're introduced to, and
Yeah.
it's the one I always go back if I just want to do bounties on the rare occasion
It's
or
Earth. It's
kill
home.
some time or something.
Yeah, it's home.
Yeah.
What was your favorite toy as a kid? All right, I'm definitely getting some deep cuts here.
really don't know.
I'm trying to think of mine.
As far as actual toy, probably just like Hot Wheels vehicles, like
Yes.
toy cars, things like that.
Hell yeah. Okay. What's up, Hoosier? So Hoosier Guardian? Hoosier Guardian. I just got that. Nice. I like that. Describe yourself in one word.
Numb.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, that's fine.
Just I don't typically show a lot of emotion. I
Okay.
just try to get through the day.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Game-winning score or game-saving stop?
Saving stop.
Okay. Week or weekend gaming?
Week.
Can you drive a stick shift?
Yes.
Well, of course, you drive a truck. Favorite armor shader color, and you may use dim if you need to. Or your app.
Honestly, I really like that new, like the one they just released for Pride Month. I really like how like the rainbow,
Yeah.
Alternating colors. I think it works really well with a lot of armor pieces.
Okay. It's different. That's for sure. Journey or destination?
Destination.
Okay. Do you eat your leftovers or do they spoil in the fridge?
I don't like having leftovers, so I usually only make enough to eat then and there.
Gotcha. If you could take one famous person to dinner, who would it be?
Do I have to pay? 'Cause,
No.
I mean, they're famous. They should pay.
Yeah. Who would you go to dinner with if they were famous? Who would be your choice?
Probably Chuck Norris, just because I grew up watching a lot of his
I
movies.
like it. Okay. If you had more time, what would you do with it?
Probably waste it.
If you have it, use it. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Name one thing that you would change about yourself.
I'm already pretty tall, but maybe like just slightly more.
Always more.
I'm right around 6'3". If I could go like another inch or two, I think it'd be great.
I'd love to be 6 foot. Jeez. All right. Well, Tajo, you have now completed the speed run. Thanks for playing, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Yep.
Hey, I've got a question out there for all of you. Is there a speedrun question that you think we should ask to a future guest? If so, let's hear it. Just go to our 2026 speedrun channel and submit your question. At the beginning of 2026, we'll have 2 drawings for a $25 Amazon gift card. And what do you have to lose? Let's hear it. You can, we only count 1 entry per member, but you can put in as many as you like and we'll be glad to steal them from you. So, thanks and good luck. All right. That means it's time for This Week in Destiny.
OMG, it's Brittany, and you're listening to Guardian Downcast.
All right, This Week in Destiny for June 26, 2025. This week we opened more doors, some could call them portals, get it, into the Edge of Fate's Kepler destination, Armor 3.0, and our brand new gear tiering system. There's been so much to share lately, and today is no different. We'll be chatting more about our goals for the new systems and sharing more details about our updated season pass, the rewards pass. Ooh, here's the breakdown. Okay, we're going to go through this pretty quickly. I'm not going to dwell too much time on this because a lot of it is repetitive, but definitely want to tune into the next developer live stream. This week was all about the Armor 3.0, gear tiers, and sandbox. Next week, let's chat a bit more about Kepler, what's coming with the Edge of Fate. Join us on Tuesday, July 1st at 10 p.m. Pacific time for our second Edge of Fate developer live stream. We're planning to give you a glimpse of the campaign, crank up the difficulty with the new world tiers system, and let you see how this and all the other new sandbox changes come together. We'll also have a dev team on the floor ready to share many details about power, progression. Okay, I like that. The portal, Guardian ranks, quality of life changes, and more. So save the date, July 1st, 10 a.m. And there's also a new emblem you can get if you watch 15 minutes or more of the stream on Twitch. It has to be Twitch because that's the only one that'll fulfill the new emblem. So they're not too bad. I don't know. What do you guys think? It's a decent little emblem. I don't know.
No, this one's boring to me.
Looks okay. I mean, it's not like last.
I don't like the color scheme very much.
I like last week's a lot better, but it's okay. Hey, they're giving it to us for watching for 15 minutes. I'm good for that. They talked about the last week's live stream, which we kind of already went through. So if you want to watch that, that is listed right there. And I don't know what this is. Do you guys have any clue what this is about?
Yeah, it's basically what's happening leading up for this is stuff that back when I even heard the rumors a long time ago that ended up being true, that basically how the whole campaign's going to start. There's going to be a mysterious thing that happens. So we'll just leave it at that. But
okay.
Yeah, anomalous object. Let's just put that's the important part right there.
Anomalous object. Okay.
Don't think of it as like some big planetoid thing, by the way, but it's something much smaller, but yeah.
Well, it's not very long. I'll just read it real quick. A leather-bound binder locked by a numeric code, redacted, black, filled with documentation regarding redacted, space, and redacted. The binder is scarred with an unknown residue, like rubberized mold. An addition has been made to the pages within redacted. Otherwise, the binder itself appears to retain its original properties and pages. Contains classified information. Information has been stricken from this audit. Agents may request access directly from Director Moffat. Report. A DEO binder disappeared from a DEO test site on redacted. An anomalous object was found in the back lot outside DEO site number 7 on the ground. It had been confirmed on 3 separate occasions that this object is, in fact, the very same redacted binder that the Internal Institute initiated this audit to recover. There is no missing information, but the DEO cannot assume the information has not been copied, and the addition to the binder's content brings up questions of its origin. The II will transfer investigation of this matter to a more appropriate internal department equipped to analyze temporal redacted. Okay. We'll leave that for what it is. They talked about the new armor. This was all in the live stream from last week. So if you want to go into detail on the different armor perks, is there anything in here, guys, that I need to pull out of this information, or is this all repetitive about the Armor 3.0? Is there anything in here we need to mention, Kingsley?
Not for me. I want to give more details on a different section, but if Tajo has anything in the armor section.
Anything here you want to?
I have stuff about the set bonuses and archetypes, but as far as our Armor 3.0 in general, no.
Well, okay. So the set bonuses, think of set bonuses like an origin trait for armor, reflection of that armor's theme that you can fold into the way you build your plays. I know when we play Iron Banner, we need to put on either the ornament or the armor, and it gives you a bonus to XP that you can earn in Iron Banner. So that's kind of what they're talking about here, except it's much more specific. Did you want to go over something you wanted to mention on this, Tajo, on the set bonuses? Was there something you had about it that you didn't like, or a comment you want to make on it, or because we heard about this during the live stream?
It's like a slight worry almost. So the bonus is in the live stream, the devs that they had on the couch said they were really looking forward to, in a couple seasons time, seeing what people create with past set bonuses, right?
Right.
So that means that these bonuses aren't going away. They're going to stick around. So to me, they're going to have to find a way to balance that, over time.
Okay.
Make sure nothing is too overpowered. And then already looking at this example that they're giving here, that tech set is miles better than the Aeon renewal. I mean, having more damage versus running faster.
Right.
I'm choosing damage every time.
Yeah. And I think they mentioned, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think I heard this in the live stream, that the most current armor drops will have the set bonuses, and when the new season pops around with a new armor, that this will go away. But you're saying that it's going to stick around. Is that what you're saying? Because that's the one thing I was upset about.
So the set bonuses, like the origin trait stuff, that'll stay forever, as far as we know so far.
Okay.
What they're saying is that additional 10% or 15% damage and damage reduction, that will change.
That will change. Okay.
Depending on what is labeled as new.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because set bonuses are different than featured armor. I mean, right now we are only going to have one set of featured armor because there's only one new thing so far and one set of set bonuses. But set bonuses will stick around. There'll be a new set of set bonuses and a new set of featured armor when the next season comes around.
Okay, I just want to clarify that point.
Right.
Okay. Well, they also mention armor archetypes. Now, I read this, and what this basically tells me is these are kind of preset stat armor, kind of like a weapon has a kind of a preset roll, or like a standard roll. So what they're saying here with these types of the armor 3.0, like for instance, they have Paragon, which they have a primary and secondary. I'll just read it here. The primary, highest, secondary, second highest stats are determined by your archetype, make armor reliably spiky, which I love this part. We've also updated the armor or ghost mods to increase the odds of getting specific archetype dropping. That's good. To make seeking out the best armor for you easier overall, we've found this system makes it much easier to earn armor where its stats are landing where you need them to be, rather than in stats you don't want for your build. I like this. It's more of a focused way of getting your 3.0 armor. Paragon, your super is primary, your melee secondary. You have Grenadier, which is grenade and super as being secondary. Specialist, class is your primary. Weapons are your secondary. Brawler, obviously, melee is primary and health is secondary. Bulwark, health is primary, class secondary, and then Gunner, weapons primary and grenade secondary. So that's what they're saying here about weapon or armor archetypes. But they also mentioned something about masterworking, and this was a little convoluted for me when I read it. And it says, with all the new and shiny armor set bonuses to try out, we wanted to make sure that it was easy to try a new piece of armor. So we've updated the masterworking system for any armor 3.0 drop. All armor 3.0 drops will have their maximum armor energy available regardless of masterwork level. Masterworking armor no longer increases all stats. The amount granted by primary, secondary, and tertiary stats rolled will not change, with the exception of armor mods if you use them to change it. Masterworking now increases your lowest 3 stats in that place of armor by +1 for each level. This has a maximum of +5 in each, or +15 stats total. I'm no math genius, but that doesn't make sense to me. If it's +1 for each level, that's +3 for each piece, right? Or total of 15. That'd be a total of 12, right? What am I
saying? No, because it only does your 3 lowest stats.
Right,
so
by 1.
3 times 5 is 15.
Oh, I see.
So your 3 lowest stats can each go up 5 points.
5
so
pieces
that's
of
the
armor.
50.
5 pieces of armor. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I read that wrong,
So-
I guess.
Yeah,
I
and
actually
it's really
wrote
only
down-
helping bring up the low stats.
Right,
Like,
right.
you don't need to worry about like, oh, this is really spiky on this one thing.
Yeah.
Let's masterwork to make the spiky thing even better. No, you're not going to be doing that. You're just going to be bringing the lower things up a little bit.
Okay. You want to say something, Tajo?
Yeah, so the archetype and the masterwork can kind of go hand in hand here for me.
Okay.
The archetype, I think it's cool. I don't know if it actually fits Destiny. To me, it feels more hero shooter, maybe marathon-esque to
Like
me.
preset. Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe this is a way to kind of help tie in that bridge to marathon. Maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
I'll have to wait and see how it works out, but I'm not exactly excited by that.
Okay.
And then the masterwork change, I'm not exactly a fan of. Like, if I'm shooting for specific stats that I want high, I don't want my masterwork to shoot stats that are lower.
Right.
Because it just feels like a waste to me. You know?
Yeah. If it's,
I'd rather focus on like my 3 higher stats.
It sounds like they're kind of deprecating masterworking without saying it, but they're like, well, we'll still let you get your lowest stats up a little bit, but we're not going to let you do your highest stats.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
it's like, let's make everything average. You
Gotcha.
know?
Okay. Gear tiers. I mean, we kind of talked about this. I talked all about this in the live stream. Tier 5 will give you 75, but 90 with an extra mod energy, random tune stat. For the focusing, we talked about 70 to 75 on tier 4, 64 to 69 on tier 3. This is where you say that whatever tier we have right now, like if we have I have 85 armor if you include all the masterworking, but I guess that's going to be out the window now. So base stats.
12.
Yeah, so base stats are going to be if I have a 66 roll, that's going to immediately fall into a tier 3. Is that what you're saying? That my current armor will?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the only thing I have to say about this is it's nice to have, specific numbers that aren't hidden. Like we know what they are.
That. Yeah, I like that. But here's the thing. If Bungie moved around our stats for our armor to make things easier to understand for your newer Guardians that are trying to get into this game, this just seems like they're adding a bunch more things to armor that is just making things more confusing. To us build crafters, we'll min-max this all day long, but for the newer Guardian coming in, I mean, what do you guys think of this? Do you think this is an easier to understand armor system, or do you think it's hasn't changed much, or do you think it's harder for a new player?
It will be easier because the stuff we're getting into more in a second is just bonuses. Like people don't need to worry about, like, I don't know, like, I mean, when Tajo was talking about it, when I was looking through it again, I think the spike thing, I get what you're saying, Tajo, about like, it seems a little less Destiny, but also in the same aspect, it really will be kind of easier for everyone to understand, well, I don't want this armor, or even the new people like, oh, that's what this armor provides. But, that's the easy level. And then, but they're expanding it on both sides, but then these crazy builds that people can do, tier 5, going up to 200 or whatever for a single stat, maybe a second one. That's the harder part that you don't have to do. It's not like, unless the game is like promoting, get your tier 5, like on the loading screens or whatever. And then new people are like, how do I do that? But I don't know. I'm not too worried about it right now.
In our Twitch chat, who's your Guardian? He says, returning Guardian here. I think it'll make builds easier. Okay. Maybe I'm just looking into this too deeply. I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm looking forward to build crafting. I'm looking forward to starting all over with armor because, I mean, we all got our armor, right? We all got our armor for PvP. We all got our armor for PvE, and we're pretty much good. There's been no real motivation, even Artifice armor. And I know that sounds terrible to hear, but Artifice armor, it doesn't really mean a whole lot to me because I have high spiky tier armor already that isn't Artifice that does the job that I need to do. But I guess according to this new system, it's going to be more important than ever. But at the same time, I guess they're appeasing both sides of the crowd here. They're making it where you don't have to worry about getting the tier 5 gear if you don't want to, and just play the game, play the portal stuff and play it at lower levels and stuff. But as you get into the higher tier gear, I think it's going to be more important to be able to build into this stuff. And remember that melee builds now are additive and not multiplicative anymore. And I don't know how that's going to play out either. It sounded good when I read the TWAB last week, adding 200, going from 100 to 300 percent. I mean, that sounds really good, but it's still additive. Anybody who plays Balatro knows that multipliers are much better than additive. But of course, we know also that Bungie, they, in order to keep things not too crazy, that they would only, like with the fire team doing DPS, would only take the maximum buff that you're using. They wouldn't let you combine the buffs, remember? That they would only use the strongest buff. I think they did that back when Luke Smith was doing things. I don't know if they ever changed it back, but if I remember correctly, if you're using multiple buffs, they're only going to use one when you're in a fire team as far as doing DPS on a boss or something like that. But this additive that they keep talking about from last week with the melee, the way they're changing melees and stuff, I don't know, man. I don't know if this is I almost think this is going to be a wash, but I don't know. We'll have to just see how that all turns out. But okay, there it is. There's your tiers. So we know what our armor is going to turn into when it gets when they do flip that switch. We'll know what it's going to do. They talk about the new gear here, but they talked about all of this on the stream, didn't they? Do we need to talk about the exotic stuff? Is there something?
Even the streamers, they kind of show us a lot of this too.
They do. I mean, so I feel like we don't need to dwell on this.
That's my opinion, but if you guys have anything interesting, we should,
Yeah, Tajo, if there's anything you have on your outline or anything that you want to talk about in here, let me know, man.
The only thing I have is, people are really looking at this 10% and 15% buffs for the new gear, right?
Right.
And they think it's going to change everything. 10% is not a lot.
Not much.
Like, if you're doing 100 points of damage and you have that new armor, you're only doing 110 points of damage.
In PvE, it's not much. So, now, in Crucible, yes, it would definitely count.
Right. But like, I think people are taking it a little bit too far and saying like, oh man, we have to get all this new stuff. All of our old stuff is completely wasted.
Right.
And I just watched a Scare 9 video earlier today, and he was kind of going over this.
Right.
And, I agree with him. I mean, he said that 10% is not going to matter in 99% of the content you mess with.
Right.
So, like, just use what you like, what you're comfortable with. You're going to get new stuff as you play.
Right. Okay.
Don't stress about it.
Yeah, and Hoosier says also, I never liked the grind for the spiky armor perks. I mean, it was random, man. It was random what perks you would get and stuff. So, I mean, at least up here, they're giving you predetermined spiky armor, which that's a plus. That's a plus that, they have all these different types of preset armors that you're trying to look for. And I'm curious what these ghost mods are going to look like. Is it going to say Paragon Finder or a Grenadier Emphasis or something on the ghost mod?
There'll probably be something
like that. Yeah.
Be something like that. Instead of discipline armor, it's probably going to be like Grenadier.
Gotcha. Okay. I like that. That. I love using the ghost mods. Do you have something else?
Yeah, well, this was the main thing I wanted to talk about in the TWID, actually, was the featured armors and weapons. And since this was our point here now,
okay.
I'm more mixed on if I think it'll make a difference or not. Yeah, 10% doesn't sound like a lot, but we know that once you start hitting those 15% numbers, like when we've been in raids and stuff, it's like kind of like semi-required. Now, it gets into this whole conversation where it's like, yes, it's not really required, but like once we start seeing raids and stuff and we're like, ooh, that was a 2 or 3 phase where it could have been a 1 or a 2 phase. If people had an extra 10, 15, 20%, I could see it being important. And some streams I was watching, people think the 10% is really important. Now, to me, 10%, it's right below the line. 15% for damage resistance on armor, that's getting a little bit more important in my opinion. But the bigger point I wanted to make was how, and these numbers could change, by the way, next big update, next year of Destiny, whatever.
Right.
The bigger interesting thing here is featured stuff. We have new featured weapons and armor and exotics. And we're going to be getting into that, but I'll just start the discussion and we can talk about it.
Go for it.
I kind of like this idea in general, and I think some people are going to be mad before they fully understand it. I appreciate what Tajo said, like, you don't have to do it.
Right.
Some people will feel pressured when they don't need to be. Other people will think it's not important at all, where it actually might be a little important if you're trying to get that little extra oomph. But the big thing is, Bungie wants to have us stop focusing on older stuff, and this is one small way to do that. I kind of like that. I like going for new gear and weapons. That's why I like the new seasons in Diablo. That's why I've never had issues with space in my vault. This is going to piss off people that like to hold on to a million old things and say, like, why are they trying to focus on the new stuff? I don't know. I really like this idea of having new seasonal weapons and armors and featured exotics, and it'll be really interesting to see where the dust settles. Do you guys have any other opinions on that other than just the amount of bonus?
Yeah, I have an opinion, but I want to hear Tajo. No?
Yeah, I agree with what Kingsley's saying. I think it is a good approach to have like a set list of like, hey, try these out this season or whatever. My only concern is I don't know if they mentioned it or not. I didn't read it that thoroughly just yet.
Okay.
Is hopefully they have some way of making those easier to earn for people, and get their catalyst or their stats they want, like things like that. Besides Xur, because they really got to do a Xur overhaul. I mean, because he's almost useless right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so you're just talking the
Besides
exotics then, right? Because there's also legendaries, of course, but you're talking the exotics.
Yeah. I'm talking the exotics mostly.
Mm. Yeah, gotcha. I don't see any reason why not. There's so many things in the portal that are being really like micro.
You broke up. You cut out.
I think I saw that there will be some extra focusing with exotics. We already kind of have some focusing.
Right.
So like really it'll just, and the list was actually pretty darn big with how many exotics.
Yeah.
It was a long list. Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm sure they will make them easier to earn. If they don't, I could see that being an issue. Like, hey, try out this new stuff, but we're not going to help you get it.
Right.
But remember also exotics are just a bonus. Like the legendary gear, obviously that 1000% will be easy to earn because they always make the seasonal weapons and armor easy to get, with the activities and stuff. But I'm guessing the exotics won't be too bad.
So
I will tell.
Bungie, I think, is learning from their mistakes. They're saying, okay, I remember when we decided to just tell people that all their weapons are going to be useless? Remember that time when Tajo made that video and he goes, I have no interest in playing anymore because all these weapons will be gone. It just doesn't even matter. These weapons don't even matter. I'm trying to remember when that period was. I think it was when they made that big change, but they were trying to sunset our weapons. Well, they did. They sunset they did sunset, and
then also remember not everyone felt that way, but yes.
True. But what they're doing here now is they're saying this is kind of something that Hazel mentioned a long time ago. And he says, what they're going to do is they'll just make weapons that much better. And then you'll just forget about your old weapons. And I guess that's what they're trying to do here is they're trying to make us not be so nostalgic, I guess the word is, and hang on to those old weapons. But those old weapons have memories, man. They have kill counters on them. And you have a history with that weapon, and especially the crafted weapons, man. I'll never get rid of those crafted weapons. It's built the way I exactly want it to play the game with it. But if the new seasonal weapons, I say seasonal because they are going back to seasons, the new seasonal weapons and armor are that much better, then, they're kind of pushing us in that direction. I can't see how I would want to keep my old stuff. Couple comments
Plus they want us to grind. Since there's less content, they've been adding all these things, more and more grind. It's one more thing.
This worries me, Kingsley, because you mentioned it last time we were talking about this a few weeks ago, is that all this is going to go away and reset every season, right? Is that what you said?
Well, some things, like we mentioned, the seasonal bonuses, those will go away on those weapons, but like the extra archetype perks and all those things will still be around. So basically you're losing that 10% bonus or that 15% bonus,
and then
basically.
Then they'll be pushing us into the next set of weapons and armor. I got you. For the next season. Yeah. A couple comments in the chat I wanted to make sure I mentioned here. JD Kent said that the bonus does not work in PvP or contest mode. So,
thanks I was going to mention. Thank you so much, JD. Yep.
Yeah,
good,
JD's on top of it.
Part.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yep.
Syndicate had a few questions here. He says, I'm new. I have one champion. I think he means Guardian. I'm still working on unlocking Strand. Here's the thing, Syndicate, about if you want to try to unlock Stasis, good luck, brother or sister, because it is still a pain in the ass to get Stasis unlocked. You have to run those missions, loop them and loop them and loop them and loop them until on what I call the Ice Planet Hoth, and until you finally can. It's such a repetitive loop. It was so boring, and it was so boring that on my other accounts, I said these accounts just don't have Strand. I mean, I don't have not Strand, Stasis. Thank you. My mind's starting to shift. But Stasis, they did with Strand, they did it the right way. you play anything in the game, and these little prisms fall that you can collect. The more you play the game, then you can go turn them in and decide what you want to buy from the stasis vendor at the fountain, right? That is I love that system. And I, of course, got stasis, damn it. I got Strand for all my characters because it was fun. It gave me something to work toward. I'd hop on Neptune and I'd go around and kill a bunch of Vex and stuff, which drops them a little faster. You get a little bit more on Neptune because they want you to play that world because that's where Strand originated. So, yeah, man, that's a great, I love that system. Strand is a lot of fun. And unfortunately, I'm just old school.
They also lowered the cost of it.
Yeah, they did. They halved it. They halved it by the end of the season, so that was even better. But now, man, you're doing it right. That's a good system. Just if you want to get stasis, good luck, man. They're not going to give it to you. They're going to make you work for it. And to me, that's just like, I got it on one of my characters. I'm in one of my accounts. I'm good. But he also says, I'm new, feeling lucky that I haven't farmed much gear yet. You might be, because going into this next iteration of Destiny 2, now that the Light and Dark Saga is over with, you're going to be pretty much starting fresh with armor. So, and apparently with weapons too. So, yeah, I think it's a soft.
You won't. Again, see, this is where I think we're overdoing it on the one side. People don't need to worry about that, but if you're a higher end player and want to get that extra 10 or 15%, then you can start worrying about it.
But we're basically starting fresh as far as these set bonuses and all these extra things that we're getting with the new 3.0 armor, which we won't get with our old armor. So yeah, I mean, get your one good set. You said you have one good build. Hang on to it. What I would suggest doing, Syndicate, between now and then is unlock all those fragments, man. Get your stasis. Go play the Final Shape mission. Go play through that. It's an awesome mission. It's probably the best DLC Bungie's ever released. Go play all that and go through whatever you need to do to unlock all the stasis fragments and aspects, because those are a lot of fun to play with. So, and not taken away from Strand, but you'll use some Strand in that new, basically the prismatic subclasses where you get to use everything, and you can cross pollinate a little bit. You can use a little Strand, you can use a little stasis, you can use a little bit of everything in this build. It's limited what you can use. I was really hoping that Bungie would go all out on this after Final Shape, that they would just open up this new subclass to everything, where you can swap it out however way you want to play the game. That is the direction I really thought they were going to go, and they never did. They backed off of prismatic. Maybe they thought it was too strong for the game. I don't know, but definitely at least
they definitely did. They're walking it back.
They are walking it back. So that's I mean, I'd even take less. If you want to even nerf it a little bit, I'm fine with that. But bring in more customizability with prismatic, because that was such a good idea, man. That was such a good idea that they added with the Final Shape. Of course, the people who made Final Shape, probably half of them aren't even there anymore. So it's a moot point, I guess. Hoosier says,
actually, there's one conspiracy theory out there right now that prismatic was just added as another way to make Final Shape better because they had to, and now they just almost regret it. They don't have the time or ability to keep up on prismatic.
Oh, it's too bad. We didn't have to worry about new subclasses.
But yeah.
Hoosier says, I'm glad the fresh start is happening. One reason why I didn't want to return back to the game is because I didn't want to play catch up to all the in-game activities. Final Shape was fun, but I don't think I can continue playing it the way it was laid out. That's what they're trying to fix with this portal system, where it's very easy for you to just jump in and play content. So we're going to hear about that in the live stream coming up this next Tuesday. And I'll be honest, I'm more excited about that than this last live stream we had. I'm excited to see what this portal system looks like, especially for solo ops, which is, the part I'm going to probably be using a lot of. So, okay, back.
Go ahead.
Sorry. All right, back to the TWAB real quick.
You went on a long tangent on that one.
Sorry. We talked about the exotic armor here. The TLDR here is they can't transfer, or they can't use the new system on your exotics. Not this year. They said the year of, which I guess this is the next year is the year of
prophecy.
Prophecy. Thank you. Someone's on top of it. Thank you. But they said we're going to give you some tokens with 801 where you can transfer, I guess, switch out some of your favorite armor exotics. So okay,
focus.
Yeah, you can focus it. So even your classic class ability stuff here, your class items, you can do
There
as
you go.
well. So there you go. Gear swapping. I think Kingsley had something to say about this. Let's talk about gear
Yeah.
swapping. I know they mentioned that. I think all they mentioned here was, Sanguine. They're just updating Sanguine Alchemy, that they're going to make. They're sure there's a timer if you do switch out.
Sanguine Alchemy, it's an interesting thing. At first, I thought it was a little bit worse than it was, but it's not. A lot of people use Sanguine Alchemy in a way where you build up on a solar class, you pop your well, and then you swap to another subclass.
Right.
And then what happens is you get the benefit of Sanguine Plus, like if you wanted to switch to Arc because you prefer using an Arc heavy, you get all the Sanguine benefits, plus then you get, even though it's not solar, it still counts because it's kind of doing this ability energy thing.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a different thing where they're doing a thing where if you were to swap to Sanguine, instead of swapping away from it, there's now a 10-second cooldown before its perk can be activated.
Okay.
Not huge news or info yet, although some people will be mad. This is going to mess up some endgame builds and things that people like to do. However, again, I'm always future looking. This is a much, much bigger thing that Bungie's laying down the law with. They're kind of saying that they don't want people to get into hot swapping, gear swapping, stuff like that. And I applaud this because even though I know it's fun for people to find weird ways to do things, and well, they probably don't even think it's weird, but like it can trivialize some things or make it so that people feel like they're semi-required to run those things. And if you're on an older system too, like a PS4, which you shouldn't be, but you know what I mean? But like, it's harder to do these type of hot swaps, even though a subclass swap is not as bad as other things. So I really applaud this. They say they're going to do more things down the road too. And it's one of these things that I'm sure some higher end players will be upset about, but I'm trying to be empathetic about that. But for me, I kind of like the idea of just eventually getting rid of, exploit's a little bit too hard of a word, but like things like this that kind of exploit like hot swapping and gear swapping and stuff.
They've even fixed it in PvE. I used to bring a fusion rifle in trials or whatever I'm playing, and then immediately switch when I'm out of ammo, immediately switch to a sidearm, which would give me a full clip. They've even switched that now. So they've made it tough to take advantage of that. That's for sure. Yeah, that's all that
PvE,
basically
a lot
says.
of that stuff is still allowed.
Okay.
Except Sanguine now is a big one where they're starting with.
Okay.
So.
I could have sworn they had a TWAB a while back that pissed people off that said there's not going to be hot swapping anymore.
Well, that was for Red of the 9. They were testing it right at the 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is a specific example, and with them committing that there will be more down the road.
Okay. Tajo, do you want to mention something else?
Wait. Yeah, I actually have a couple things. On the hot swap, I'm with Kingsley. I think it's a good way to go. I'm very much in the mindset. I build my character per encounter, and I just stick with that one build. I'll swap whenever we get to the next rally flag or something. If that build's not going to work in the next boss, but you don't need to hot swap every 15 seconds and do all this crazy things. Like if that's what you like, that's cool. But for a majority of the player base, it's not necessary.
Yeah.
And it adds a level of expectation when you go into higher end content and be like, hey, have 8 different builds set up so that you can swap through during the DPS and everything.
I always
I think it's unnecessary.
I always feel they're targeting the speedrunners when they talk about this kind of stuff. So I know the speedrunners hot swap a lot.
Kind of, potentially.
Even the swords and stuff to skate and get through stuff quick. But okay, they talk about featured exotics here.
Like my hot take is they should get rid of sword skating. That's a very hot take, but
they have nerfed it a little bit. I mean, you can't even warlock skate anymore as good as you used to. But they talk about the features exotics here, starting with Edge of Fate, certain exotic.
Hold on.
Oh, do you have something else to mention?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just before we get too far down the line, I wanted to touch on the exotic class item change.
Okay.
Because I don't think we talked about the class items very much.
No, I just brushed over it.
So, yeah, I don't remember this from the live stream or anything, but did you see that the class items, depending on which perk is where, is going to have set roles now? They're getting rid of the Artifice slot on them.
Really?
So you don't get the bonus from the artifice anymore.
So
which
soft sunsetting.
Yeah, well, not necessarily, kind of, but like the spirit of whatever is going to have a set stat spread for that perk, no matter where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like you're going to have to choose: do you want a specific perk or do you want a specific stat spread?
Yeah.
On your class item.
I got you.
Which are you willing to give up? And then getting rid of the artifice armor slot, so it's not an additional 3 or 5 or whatever it'll be now. I think is also not great, especially because we put all that material in there to get these artifice slots, and then I doubt we're getting repaid for that. I think that's a pretty big change that nobody's brought up.
Really?
Yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember hearing something about like they were going to do some stuff with the exotic class item pieces, but you're right. Like on the actual details now, it is just kind of confirming that whether they are intentionally trying to soft sunset this or not, it may ultimately go that way. And it's kind of sad because I loved the duality mission and stuff. And who knows how these are if people are going to enjoy them as much going forward, if it's just a little more set like this.
Yeah, I honestly don't use the exotic class items too much. I have my set build, that's stuff I like to use. I have a bunch of them, don't get me wrong. But I could have sworn in a past TWID that they talked about how they were changing some of these exotic perks on the class items, but I may be wrong. They all kind of
as far as I remember, they just said. Yeah, as far as I remember, they just said they were going to change them, but they didn't actually give specifics yet.
Okay.
I think this is our first look at the specifics.
I got you. Okay.
And looking at these specifics.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, like looking at these specifics, it's really killing the vibe of the exotic class armor.
Yeah.
I mean, having set roles, like I said, you're going to have to pick and choose what do you value more on something that I don't think is enough of a big deal to have to pick and choose on.
It's another thing. They're like almost like saying they didn't like what they did with Final Shape. Prismatic is one now, and this is like another one. It's like, oh, we went too hard. It's like we got to bring all this stuff back.
Bungie.
What back?
Always afraid to have too much fun. Okay.
I don't even know if afraid is the right word.
Let us blow shit up. Let us kill stuff. I don't
think it's afraid. I think they just don't have the time and the ability with less employees to keep. That's me trying to be nice, actually.
Okay.
To keep it. What's the word? Or in the sandbox and test it and everything like that. Right. So they're just like, we can't. So we're going to have to pull back some. I really don't think they were like, oh, we regret it. Like it was a bad decision for fun reasons, or they're afraid. But it's just, what can they do now? I'm trying to be practical about it. Who knows? We really don't know why they're doing it, but.
Okay. Featured exotic.
It definitely limits their use.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's my final thought. Is it limits their usage pretty intensely, depending on what the perks are going to do.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just trying to steer us in a new direction as far as the future of Destiny 2. Maybe they're just trying to leave the old stuff behind, and this is their subtle way of doing it, making it where it's less fun to use. I don't know. They did say this about featured exotic, starting with Edge of Fate. Certain exotic armor and weapons will be specifically featured, gaining the same benefits as the new gear, and will change with each expansion and major update. At the Edge of Fate's launch, 28 exotic weapons and 15 exotic armors for each class will be featured, including the new Edge of Fate exotic weapons and armor. I'm not going to go through the whole list.
Yeah, we talked about this.
Yeah, but this is, and this is where you can go to Ada too as well, right? They're going to give you so many tokens too.
No. This is where, I mean, yes, you can, but the bigger point here is these are the ones that will give you the extra 10 to 15% bonus.
Got you. Now
they're equivalent to the new seasonal legendary stuff. These are the ones that, if you want to have an extra bonus, and if your exotic fits in this list, you're happy. If your exotic doesn't fit in this list, you're slightly less happy.
Okay. Now, just a question here I had is, Do we have to earn these as new pieces, or do they automatically switch to that power if we already own them?
That was what they talked about just above.
Okay.
Yeah,
Still be able to use it anywhere you go. Don't worry. Even your favorite isn't on the list. And each class will be featured, including all new edge weight. Where did they say they were?
Well, the whole section above when they were talking about with what's happening with exotic armor, with like how they will convert over, and then the things that don't convert over, you can focus for new.
Sorry, I'm just trying to breeze through it. I know there's a lot of information here, and I don't want to repeat any other information. So that's why I'm counting on you guys. If there's something you want to mention here as I'm going through.
That whole area was kind of repetitive, so you don't need to worry about it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Next part, balancing of scale of abilities. I'm pretty sure we talked about all this already. They're scaling back the Hellion from 3 to 2 and the Bleak Watcher from 3 to 2 as far as the fragment slots. They talked about that in 2 TWABs ago. Is there anything here new?
I think the ones below it are new, aren't they? The prismatic and the void pocket singularity.
There's some new stuff in here.
Okay. All right.
Those ones are new. You're not going to be happy about the void one. God.
I don't use pocket singularity. It's fine. Okay. So we will mention the ones that are new. Weaver's Call, the aspect, can now generate threadlings on any final blow instead of just strand final blows. Dev note, the change will allow for easier threadling generation regardless of your build. Pocket Singularity melee, this is for Warlock, of course, increase Pocket Singularity damage versus non-boss combatants by 20%, increase Pocket Singularity damage versus boss combatants by 56%, and the dev note here is Pocket Singularity was feeling weak compared to other melees, especially given its relatively short range. Okay, I never used this. I was not a big fan of that. So,
it never felt like it did anything for me. It felt like I was just throwing water on them.
I remember we used it in Crucible for a while. It was really hot, and then they nerfed it, and they were like, okay, bye-bye.
And I'm sorry, I did not mean this one. Later, they have a Devour nerf that they do.
Shut your mouth. So, okay, is there anything new here for Titan we need to mention that they have already mentioned here? I'm scrolling slowly through it.
I don't know Titan or Hunter, so you guys will just...
The Dranger's Lash.
Okay.
They're
increasing tracking strength.
Changes to that.
Yeah, increasing tracking strength of base suspend wave and Abeyant Leap exotic armor suspend wave. Increase base suspend wave travel distance from 20 to 30 meters. Increased Abeyant Leap suspend wave travel from 30 to 35 meters. And their note here is we've seen community feedback that this ability could use some help, so we've made it more forgiving. Okay.
And my thought about this is it definitely needed help.
Okay.
But I think the biggest issue with suspend is it just doesn't last long enough, which later on in the TWID, they increase it by 1 second.
Okay.
We'll see if that helps, but I doubt it will.
Kingsley, I totally get what you mean by how they integrated this information. It is irritating that they put
things in some old
they sandwiched them in between stuff they've already talked about. It's driving me crazy. Okay. They talked about consecration last week, right? Void, shield throw, arc, storm's keep aspect. For the hunt,
not getting double benefit from like 2 barricades now for storm's keep.
Right.
That's a pretty harsh nerf. Probably needed it, but that is a major change, I would say.
Anything for Hunter here we need to know?
The gambler's dodge. I know that was part of the live stream, but
you don't have to be
being able to earn your dodge back from anywhere. Yeah, and then also too is they mentioned it in the live stream, but not on here anywhere. I don't think. If you want your dodge to be refunded fully, you need at least a 70 stat in your stat roll.
Mm-hmm. On melee. Talking about 70 on melee.
Yes, for melee.
Gotcha. Okay.
Or it's either melee or class. I think it's melee, though.
Yeah, it's a melee.
Yeah, because you dodge to get your melee. Yeah, so melee. You need at least a 70 in melee.
See, dodge?
In order to fully get your melee back.
No, dodge is
No, it'll be melee.
You sure? Okay.
Yeah, because you're dodging, but it's reactivating your melee regeneration, so that's what...
I could have sworn dodging was the class ability for hunters.
This is
it is.
After.
It's not in a class, though?
The dodging... No, the dodging
okay.
is what starts.
Gotcha. For the
starts
melee.
the effect.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Judy Kent, you have to go to 801 and change your exotic. Okay. All right. Yeah, the features in the ball. Yeah. I'm a little lukewarm to that. That new ball, that new matter spark. I don't know about that yet. Anything else here that hasn't been already mentioned for hunters in the live stream? See, gunpowder gamble.
Pretty much everything. I think, the gunpowder gamble, that's new. On your mark is new. The Ascension finally working with pretty much everything.
Gunpowder gamble, reduce self-damage from gunpowder gamble detonation by 60%. Yeah, I used to hurt myself using that. Final blows of all kinds now grant gunpowder gamble progress instead of just solar kills. They say blowing yourself up with gunpowder gamble is frustrating, so we've significantly reducing the self-damage it does if you're too close to the detonation, and we're making it easier to build stacks. Okay. On your mark, final blows while at 3 stacks of on your mark now make you radiant for a short time. Activating your class ability now gives 1 stack of on your mark instead of 3. We think Gunslinger needs more access to radiant, so we're essentially allowing them to reach a 4 stack on your mark in the form of radiant. Beyond this, we're focusing on further improving Gunslinger's kit and an upcoming release, probably I'm guessing with the Star Wars theme release. Okay, Arc Ascension. Is that all new, or has that been repeated? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah,
that's new.
That's all new.
Okay.
They mentioned they were making changes, but not what they were.
Okay, so for the Ascension aspect, Ascension can now activate the following perks. Armor mods, Reaper, Powerful Attraction, Outreach, Distribution, Bomber, Dynamo, Exotics, the HOI, what was
Oil, Heart of Most Light.
Heart of Most Light class item. Gerfalcon's Reserve Overshield. Okay. All classes, General, increase damage versus bosses, mini-bosses, and champions by 50%. For these grenades, Flux, Arc Bolt, Flashbang, Storm, the Axiom Bolt, Suppressor, Firebolt, Trip Mine, and the Rock Grenade from Forerunner. Okay. All damage types, ability, energy returns from perks, and passive regen now scales based on the requisite stat. We cover this topic in the recent TWID. Okay. Be nice if they could do that on some of these areas. Devour. Reduce Devour heal amount from 200 to 140. What? Devour has been far and away the most effective form of healing available, and a full heal on every proc feels excessive. Really? Really, Bungie? This change will better balance Devour against other healing sources and give more value to the back-to-back procs. Yeah, whatever. Strand, Suspend.
You don't need Devour anyways.
What?
I've been trying to teach people for years.
No. Devour's the way.
No, here's why it's better to... Okay, I'm going to go through my little spiel again, because you brought it up. It's always better to rely on staying alive using offensive tactics over defensive tactics, if you can.
Well, you have to be offensive to activate Devour.
What I'm talking about is like, you can have other subclasses like Solar or Arc or things like that. They're putting out so much offensive damage that the ads are dead. And so you don't even have to worry about healing
I got you.
as much. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
A healing thing like a Well, a Rift, a Devour, that's like a first lower level, but it's always better to get to a higher level where you're relying on just taking down the ads quicker than having to heal yourself.
Yeah, plus overshields and other stuff it kicks into, yeah.
And maybe they were just thinking it was a too easy get out of jail card. And again, in my opinion, I've tried Devour, and I stayed alive even easier when I had like Arc builds that were taking down enemies and they weren't locking down to me and stuff. Easier anyways. So it's like, I still think people should rely on offensive strategies more than defensive, but whatever.
Okay. They're saying Stasis Shatter will now stun Overload champions instead of Unstoppables. I always thought Overloads were a lot harder to stun than Unstoppables, so I like that. I like that change. Arc, Flux Grenade, reduced base cooldown time, increased projectile size to make it a bit easier to stick targets. We want Flux Grenade to be high damage skill shot, but not the long cooldown and high accuracy required. We're too punishing. Okay. Now the thing we're going to talk about. New rewards pass incoming. It's no longer called a seasonal pass. It's called a rewards pass because you're going to get all kinds of rewards. It's
because they're not calling them seasons.
Okay. In the new era of Destiny 2, and with that comes exciting updates to our seasonal pass model. Much like the olden times, there will be 4 reward passes available throughout the Year of Prophecy, And just like before, the cost of these rewards passes is reduced to 1,000 silver or $10. What we're really excited to announce is that every rank will now be available to earn day one. No more having to wait for new act to launch to unlock more ranks. We've adjusted them to feel more rewarding too. For one, we've refactored some boosts and added new ones, removing some that were determined to be less than desirable. The new boosts offer comprehensive bonuses that apply to a wide range of content as opposed to narrowly boosting specific season content. I like that. Activity Score Boost now provides a 15% score bonus on all portal activities when fully unlocked. Prime Ingram Boost increases the possibility of desirable armor and weapon drops from portal activities. I like that as well. Weekly Challenge Boost allows players to complete their various weekly seasonal hub challenges faster, streamlining their access to additional high-value rewards. And then finally, XP Boost has been refactored to apply a 40% bonus to XP earnings when fully unlocked, along with a 20% bonus to Fire Team member XP. Additionally, the total number of XP boost items has been reduced to make space for additional rewards. Secondly, and this is what I got a beef with, premium track armor rewards have, this isn't. I actually like this. Premium track armor rewards have also been reworked so that players will acquire a full set of both PvE and PvP armor, and the free track will offer 5 pieces split between the two. So you'll get a partial set if you have the free track, allowing players to unlock the partial set bonus for each. Thirdly, we took a pass at our reward allocation to ensure that we're providing as much value as possible for all players. The allocation of various free rewards has been increased, and players will be able to acquire more cosmetic rewards within the first 100 ranks of the pass compared to prior season passes. With a return to 4 passes per year, we've reduced the pass ranks down to 110. Why the extra 10, you ask? Well, they're extra special. While we set out to reduce the overall grind and remove the time gating introduced during episodes, we still wanted to preserve some aspects of the aspirational progression and chase rewards that our larger seasonal passes provided. These additional 10 ranks are packed with valuable rewards for both free and premium players, require 500,000 XP each to earn, and can be acquired through gameplay, only through gameplay. While we have ensured that the first 100 ranks provide you more value than ever before, we hope that you enjoy having additional rewards to chase after achieving rank 100. Okay, so let me get this right. So instead of every 5 ranks you get one of these engrams you can turn into the cosmetic lady and get your 5th or 500th legendary sparrow. So now they're going to have better rewards, but only 10 ranks. What do you guys think about that? 110 ranks total.
What? I was asleep. I just woke up.
I know. I'm trying to get the new information out there.
I don't think that's necessarily what they're saying. I think, so if you look at it, you're basically going to what would essentially be rank 150 would be the top out.
So if you factor in the 500,000, I see what you mean. Because it used to be 100,000.
You're going to 150.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think after you hit like that 110/150, you'll still do like the prime Ingrams or whatever.
Right.
But they're making it shorter overall, because right now we're used to the 200 over the course of however many months, where now you get like the 150 right off the bat. So like it is shorter, but they're wording it to make it seem longer. So
well, they're adding more rewards in, so even though it's less things, it'll be somewhere in between when it's all said and done for the actual stuff you get.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, like, I'm trying to care here, but so like, I don't know how much more they're adding in, right? Like, I know the free track was somewhat sparse at times, and then they even said they added in more cosmetic rewards for everyone. But let's just assume it's like jam-packed now. So like, let's say that 100 in the new update will give you, let's just be generous, it may not be this much, but let's say it gives you 40 more things than it gave us in the past, okay?
Yeah.
Well, it's 40 more things. Let's say it's even 30 to be safe, right? That's 30 more things, right? So all said and done, that's people that care about these things. That's what's the most important, is they're getting more that way. But yes, it's less than 200 for the other way, which were also longer things anyway. So it's going to really kind of be somewhere more in the middle. And also, like what Tajo said, even though they said all this, that doesn't imply that they're getting rid of that other thing once the rewards pass is done.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that'll still happen too.
Yeah, I can't remember what the Ingram's called, but yeah, it's one you can turn in. It's just like a seasonal Ingram.
Prime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. I guess I'm going to reserve judgment until I see what that great gear is from 110 or from 100 to 110.
They show a picture here.
They did?
That's the great gear.
They show you what it is?
It's not great to me, but it's a bunch of
seriously? That's not
Ascendant sharp, crap
Bungie,
like that I
Bungie.
have tons of.
Bungie, when you got to learn from Call of Duty, people want to grind. You're telling people to grind for all this armor and all these tier 5 weapons, and then you only give us 110 ranks to get, to keep us playing the game. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Create a prestige system where you get an emblem every time you reset 100. Emblems I know they're not easy to make, but it takes one artist to make an emblem. And for every 100 ranks, and then you have something you can peacock a little bit in the game that in Call of Duty, you could peacock that you're 10th prestige, that you've been playing a lot of PvP. You've been playing a lot of multiplayer. People see that and go, oh, this dude's got some time in. And this guy's, I don't think I've seen that prestige emblem. What prestige is that? Or if you'll be at the tower, people will go, how did you get that emblem? How'd you get that emblem? That emblem's really cool, man. I said, well, yeah, I got level 500 on the season pass. I mean, come on, Bungie. It's such low hanging fruit. I don't understand this 110 system, but okay, whatever.
And I'll say it again too. They're obviously pulling back scope on all sorts of things in the game. I just don't think they have the desire, time, or ability to make as many.
Come on, Kingsley. How hard is it to make 100 more ranks and put, an enhancement core, a pack of 50 of them or 10 of them even. And, you just put material rewards in there even. Just give us something for getting past 110.
So that's what people would say, like, if they don't understand the full way companies work. You do understand they have to go through review processes, and the managers will say, like, we got to cut back somewhere because we have less employees and money. So this is one of the areas we're cutting back on.
Doesn't seem like, as far as developing time, it doesn't seem like a lot of development time compared to making a whole new story or a cutscene or something where there's a lot of people involved making it. We're talking about a reward track here, guys. I don't know.
They cut back on those other things too.
And this is for 6 months, right? This is for 6 months?
No. See, there's 4 per year. This is just for the didn't they even say there's 4?
3 months. 3 months. So it's our normal 3 months.
There's 4.
It's our normal 3 months. So 3 months. Okay.
Is that part of the reason why you were that concerned? It's not
no, I'm just saying, if you want people to play your game, Bungie, it's real simple. Give us something. So give us a little dopamine hit for getting 151, 152. Oh, 153. I'm going to finally get that cosmetic that I've wanted. All you have to do is throw like one cosmetic in for a weapon or anything, or just if you want to just simplify it, just give us material rewards. Give us golf balls.
So this is, if you think about it, this is actually even more than we used to get if we talk about before Final Shape, because they're packing in more rewards especially in the free and even in the paid one, more cosmetics. So this is more than we used to get.
Because especially the free track.
And they're lowering the price back down too.
Yeah, and the free track, you would get like 1 through 10, they give you something every rank, and then after that, it would start to get sparse. Where you get something every rank.
It was like the first, the first 20 to 30, it was pretty packed, but after that, it dropped off.
I just don't understand this, but okay. Hey, it's their game. I'm just trying to help. Just trying to help keep more people playing the game and grinding it. You want us to grind armor, you want us to grind these tier 5 weapons, and yet you give us only 110 slots to grind our battle pass or whatever it's called, reward pass, reward season pass, whatever you want to call it. Anyway,
how many people care that much?
That's our question of the week next week. That's going to be our question of the week. If you had,
I know.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, when I max out my season bar or whatever, it does make me less likely to play.
Exactly. You hit 100 and you're like,
I'm earning less.
I'm done. I've hit 100. I'm done. There's no rewards for just playing the game. That's my point. Give us a reward for just putting time in and playing the game.
And for a lot of people, it doesn't make us want to play the game less. So I wonder, it'd be interesting to see,
I think that'd be a good question of the week. Yeah.
I think that's going to be our question of the week next week. I'm curious to see what people think about this. Maybe it's just me.
Because of course, we are still getting more than we used to get. We're just, maybe it's a little bit potentially less than the last year of Destiny.
I love the 200. Yeah. It made me do bounties every night because I wanted to move up 5 levels on the pass bar to get, to unlock harmonic whatevers.
We're getting more rewards, but it's a less of a grind, which the grind is what I'm about. I prefer the grind.
I want the grind. And that's the thing, Tajo. They're putting the grind back in the game. We got to grind power. We got to grind to get the good armor. We got to grind to get the tier 5 weapons. They got the portal system in place where we can grind, especially solo ops, which is what I'll be checking out. And yet they handicap us. I don't know if that's the right word, but they sell us short with only 110 ranks. And I honestly, Kingsley, I didn't know they showed 110. I thought it'd be like a pack for 500,000, I'm thinking it'd be like a pack of 5 golf balls. All it is a shader and a helmet, an ornamental helmet. And I just don't get this, man.
Micro here in the chat, he says he's a casual player that's played for about a month and he's already level 120.
But Micro, here's a question. If you know that there's 200 levels and there's if you saw all these other levels in front of you and all you had to do is play the game or do bounties or whatever that increases your XP, wouldn't that motivate you to play every day as like a hobby? Because once you hit 100 and there's nothing else to do, 110 in this case. I could see if every 5 levels after that, if they kept up that tradition and you got that engram that you could turn into Eververse to get.
Assuming, don't say they aren't doing that.
Well, I'm just saying, if let's just assume they're going to continue to do that after the 110, every 5 levels, which is 500,000 XP, you'll get this special engram that you can bring to Eververse. And I'm telling you, I used to record it every time I turned them in, but I would say 9 times out of 10, you got a sparrow or a projection or a ghost that you did not want, did not care. And when you destroyed them, instead of getting bright dust back or something valuable, you got a little bit of glimmer, and they said, Saranara. Anyway, I'm not, I'll be here all night arguing about that point, but just want to mention, I just don't understand that.
And another question is, are we sure a majority of games have a 200? I said a majority of games have a 200 bar pass. Like I know Diablo only has 100. Like, what's an average out there for
But Call of Duty used to never have battle passes. Now they've integrated that plus the prestige system. Why do you think Call of Duty?
100?
I think it's 100 or 150 or something. But why do you think that Call of Duty is still the most played game? It's considered a black hole game, a game that just is always there that people are going to play no matter what.
Topic for the season pass bar.
You're out. Yeah, I'm just saying you're trying to get people to play your game.
Go ahead, Taja. Do other games have more than 100?
My 2 points on that is one. It also depends on what they're using to measure their season pass. Like, it's 100,000 each level, 500 for that last, whatever. Other games, it could be like, oh, you need 300,000 each level. Or like Call of Duty, for instance, it's time-based. It's how much time you are playing in the match, not when you log on, but in the match.
Yeah. And
is how much your bar.
And here's the thing I love. Go ahead.
I was going to say that can inflate how long the grind is. It could be the same grind, but it feels longer because you have to do more.
Here's the thing.
That wasn't my question, and then I'll let you guys. So is because we can't, to be fair, we got to be defining what we're complaining about. Are we complaining about the amount of rewards, or we're complaining about how long to get to 100?
Well,
I'm complaining
in
about,
my opinion,
each studio can
my whole issue is the end part, like what you do whenever you've maxed it out. There's no reason to play besides that you just do other stuff.
Okay, and then the other games that end at 100 or 150 also, you're happy as long as it takes a long time to get there, or what are you happy with?
No. That's for me personally. That's with any game. If I max out the season bar, I'm not as likely to play.
Exactly.
Okay, so then you want it to take a long time, right?
Or
I'm okay if it takes a long time. Or if,
you want
if
it
there's
to
a
take a long time, so that you'll play the game for a long time. Well, that's kind of what they're doing from the 100 to the 110. They're making it take a long time.
It's basically just 5 of the Ingrams. It's basically the same thing as doing 5 Ingrams past 100. People are going to breeze through that, man. I'm just telling you. I know Bungie players are going to breeze right through that. But here's the thing. Here's the one thing I want to mention about Call of Duty, their Battle Pass. When you complete the Battle Pass, they give you enough credits to actually pay for the next Battle Pass. They reward you with in-game currency to get the Battle Pass. I think they're pretty sure they still do this.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're motivating you to complete the Battle Pass. So.
Okay. Well, that's a whole different discussion. I agree with that too. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
But that's like kind of different than what we were talking about. Okay. But yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No.
Well, it's so weird because I bet a lot of people would want to get through these passes quickly so they get the rewards quicker. So it's so interesting,
Yeah. I guess everyone's different.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know if necessarily I want the grind to be long. Like, I don't know if that's necessarily the right way to explain it. It just feels like once you hit that end, there's nothing to shoot.
Mm-mm.
Like if you could like hit that end and then it adds like a special reason to play, that's something that not everybody has. We'll say the emblem, for instance. Say even if there's nothing between 150 and 200, you just go that whole 50 levels for nothing. But at 200, you get that emblem. That's something.
It's better than
a
nothing.
reason to go for it.
Better than a poke in the eye. But
so if they can add and see, that's even a little bit. So I like that. I mean, that's even a little bit different than the discussion of how many rewards there are, or how long it takes.
Right.
But and do other games do a really good job of when you're past the battle pass? Past it, remember, this is what we're saying now. When we're past the battle pass,
right?
They keep giving you a lot of good things, like all the time.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Not in general. No, I don't believe any game that I can think of does.
Yeah. If other games don't do it either, I don't know. But
yeah.
But Bungie
it is a moot point,
guys.
Overall,
I'm not fighting against it. I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah, Rasa, thank you for helping me out here.
Good.
For Bungie Seasonal Pass, I always push it hard. I still find myself playing, but the Eververse Engrams are just not worth exactly. The Eververse Engrams are garbage. I mean, every now and then I'll get 500 Glimmer, 500 Bright Dust. I'm like, okay, I feel like I deserve that because I've been putting the time in. But yeah, man, I totally get it. I do. I just don't. This part I just don't understand. But I mean, this doesn't seem.
Well, obviously, doesn't stop Todd from playing the game when you get past to the end of the battle.
No. I guarantee you. You know what happens when I hit 200 on these episodic? I haven't played my original Todd the Gator account half this season because guess what? I already got through 200 levels.
That's not the same because you have multiple accounts. But if you had one account, I guarantee you would still play.
I'd play Crucible on Monday nights with Jeff. But that's for a different reason. That's for farming guns and Crucible and doing other things.
And then I want more content. Like, I mean, I could say like, oh, I don't play the game when the campaign's done, but I'll still go and do raids.
Everybody has the rewards, the thing they get out of the game. I get that part, but this is pretty basic stuff, man. Battle passes, that's part of live service.
Other games have done different to make it better.
Well, I just told you, Call of Duty actually gives you, if you complete the Battle Pass, they actually give you the currency to buy the next Battle Pass for the next season it drops.
That's not...
Yeah, but you earn that along the way. That's not an end reward.
That's not the same thing.
But I think you need to complete it, though, for that to work. I haven't played Call of Duty in a while, but I do remember that part. It was... People are like, oh...
they give you the next Battle Pass for free, but it doesn't help you right now when you're done with that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's true. It's still the same problem. I get it. But you still have the prestige system in place. You still have gun, as you play more, you get more gun pieces. You can craft your guns.
You can go for tier 5 weapons. We can go for, other things too.
Yeah. Ross,
I'm just trying to be fair about it. I'm not saying that you guys shouldn't like wanting more, but I was just trying to figure out if this is really like a thing where Destiny is that much worse than other games.
This is something they should have done a long time ago. I mean, it's an easy, no-brainer way to get people to play the game because people want that dopamine hit. They want the rewards for playing the game. And the Battle Pass is part of live service games. You have to give us some reason to grind and play other than hoping that we'll get that piece of armor to drop. Anyway, we got to move on.
One last thing, and especially if it's not that much better in other games, there's no way in hell we're getting it in Destiny.
Yeah, but this is Destiny.
Now.
We're not like other games. This is Destiny. Destiny's supposed to rise above other games.
There's no way we're getting it with less employees, especially if other games don't even really have it.
The employee problem, of course. Yeah, the layoffs. How's that working for you, Bungie? Bungie Day is almost here. God, what a way to translate. What a way to to move on to the next topic. I'm shitting all over Bungie, and I'm gonna go, hey, Bungie's day is almost here, guys.
Fun.
No, we didn't name this day ourselves. Our community did. And we'll have more to share about the day of 7. That's 7/7, by the way, as part of our annual celebration. To you, the Bungie Foundation team is back to host another iteration of celebratory chaos as part of their continuing mission to help reduce distress and suffering in children through entertainment and partner with humanitarian aid organizations in times of natural disaster and crisis. The team is here to talk about the 7th column chaos. Is right around the corner. We can't wait to once again celebrate the chaos, the competition, and compassion of our Lightkeeper community. Bungie Day officially kicks off 7/7. Will run through 7/29, and it returns with a second edition of our 7th column chaos PvP tournament. 16 teams made up of Bungie Foundation supporters will sweat it out in Crucible, battling through chaos modifiers to earn bragging rights and bring glory to their NPC mascots. Will the Sweeper Bot led Dust Bunnies and team captain Clean Plays be champs this year, or maybe returning winner to Fizzle and Colonel's Revenge will push for the title again? Let's lock in and have some good fun for a good cause. Matches begin on 7/7, so stay tuned to the Bungie Foundation social channels for match times, and they list some match times here. You can go to Bungie.net if you want to look at these and find out who your favorite streamer is that is going to be playing in the tournament. Of course, our campaign comes with a fresh wave of rewards to power the work we do together, improving children's health and being through our Little Lights program, delivering rapid humanitarian relief and building an inclusive, welcoming communities for all. We're bringing back 7 fan favorite emblems plus an awesome slate of brand new items so that'll keep you can rep the Bungie Foundation and push our vital work even further. We have more details to share soon, but here's one of the emblems they show. Steam, we've mentioned this in our Discord community. Steam has some tremendous sales on past Destiny 2. My Destiny 2 Final Shape is 75% off. If you guys are just entering this game, I think we had a few new members that are in our stream tonight. Now is the time to get this awesome DLC. It's so inexpensive right now. It's a good time to jump in and get it and play a lot of this, our past stories. I would say, if anything, at least get the Final Shape, because I really think that was the best story and the best campaign ever that Bungie's put out. Player support report. Shit's broken. I'm going to leave it at that. We have some art. We have some awesome movies of the week. If you want to check out those, they're all available in the TWID for this week. What a week, huh? Yeah, we know. It's Thursday, but shoo, the train toward the edge of fate gets even closer, and we're happy to have you on board. There's only 3 weeks left before the next era in Destiny 2 begins, so start making preparations soon. We see you, bounty hoarders. Now, I could have sworn they said the bounties weren't going to count, but I'll look into that. A reminder, we have another live stream.
Certain ones.
Yeah, certain ones. That's right, the gunsmith ones. Remember, we have next live stream next Tuesday. Hope to see you there. For next week's TWID, we'll be diving into power progression, the portal, economy changes, and plans for Bungie Day. See you, Starside, Destiny 2 community team. Thank you, Destiny 2 community team, for communicating with us once again this week. I always do look forward to the TWABs, but man, there's some things that just really burn my butt. I'm not going to dwell on it. But anyway, that is our TWAB for June 26th. My Lord, I thought that would be quick. But no.
Why?
Because now I totally understand now why you were frustrated when we ran over it, because they mixed in a bunch of stuff that they already talked about, and they're talking about power progression in next TWAB. Aren't we talking about that in the live stream? So I don't know. Bounties. Yeah, exactly, Rasa. Got to do the bounties, man. I'm going to stack a few at least. Anyway, that was our TWAB. We have one topic of the week we're going to get into right after this.
Hey Guardians, I'm currently freezing my butt off because Gator has the thermostat too low, but you're listening to Guardians Downcast.
You're listening to what?
You heard me.
No, it's Guardian Downcast. Do I have to be jealous
I
of him?
know.
I'm over this. Cut. Okay, in this week's topic of the week, Tajo sent me a video from Mr. Toad Smoothie, I believe was his name. And he had a video that was pretty interesting. And it was, well, you know what? I'm going to let Tajo explain what this video is about, and we'll go around the horn and give our thoughts on it. Tajo?
Yeah, so the video, simply put, is about how a lot of the sentiment around Destiny right now is more negative driven, where even if the video itself isn't negative, the screen grab will say something negative to draw you in, or how people just need to take a step back, play another game, distract themselves and not let Destiny run their lives. That's like the quick gist of it.
Yeah.
I thought it would be a good topic because I know I've taken a step back just because it just felt like, there was so much going on that it was overwhelming, and I didn't want to have all of this bad, worrying and everything tainting my view for what was coming. I don't want to go in expecting to not like something. I don't want to live like that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to try to be happy and excited, so I took a step back, and then when this video popped up in my feed, I always like his videos because he's a lot more lighthearted,
right.
And I watched it and I was like, I thought it'd be a good topic for the show.
Okay. Kingsley, do you want to start out or do you want me to?
Well, I'm trying to, sorry, did I miss the video that I was supposed to watch?
It was I think we posted it in the show notes, right? Well, I can start off.
I put it in the I mean, I have some stuff to say
Did you put it in the show
about the
notes?
video. So.
Okay, yeah,
No,
there it is there. Yeah,
yeah.
you can just talk about it. Yeah, sorry, I'm so sorry I didn't watch it.
Well, no, what the gist of the video was that a lot of our content creators out there, content creators that don't even play Destiny anymore, are putting out these negative videos like in like red writing, like I quit Destiny. I love those, man. I love those videos. I always laugh when I see those thumbnails. But honestly, people will watch those videos more than any videos that are posted positive for the most part. And that's what the video he was mentioning, this Mr. Toad Smoothie in this video, is that he showed side by side two different thumbnails. One was very negative and one was more neutral to positive. And it was double the negative video got double the views than the positive video did. I mean, I put a little videos out now. I put a little bit of content out from now and then, and I try to keep my thumbnails very positive. I never really put a real super negative. I mean, there was a time when Destiny was going through it where I might have been jumping on board a little bit with all the negative hate out there, but then I just felt so shitty after I'd post something like that. So I quit doing it. I quit putting out really negative videos out there when it comes to Destiny content, because people I figure that are wanting to play Destiny and want to be positive about Destiny are the people that are in our community right now that love the game and love the community, and negativity and pile driving on Destiny. And like we said earlier, we're not being people that are being negative, about the live stream or whatever. That may not necessarily be toxic, but it may be that we're trying to give feedback directly and hopefully constructive feedback, that what they presented in that live stream really was kind of a nothing burger, other than a few new things we saw in there. It didn't feel like we saw a whole lot during that live stream. But I had a couple notes here. Do you think people out there are rooting for Destiny to fail? That's a good weekly question too. Because it seems like there's people out there that get their jollies off whenever Destiny struggles. And you usually, when Destiny is having a hard time, you get an influx of videos from streamers you haven't seen or talked or heard from in a long time. Or not streamers, content creators out there that start dumping all of these bad videos, all these negative videos about Destiny. And I'm just curious, you know, these people are making money off of Destiny not doing well and not doing, and failing. And I'm just curious, are there actually people out there that just love to see Destiny fail? Do people want Destiny to do well or worse, which is probably Destiny's worst nightmare, is people are just totally apathetic to it, which I'm starting to see a little bit of that right now. So what do you think, Tajo? What do you think about that?
I actually have a specific instance about that. There is a content creator that I'm not going to name on here, but he, put that video out where he's quitting Destiny and he's never coming back and all this stuff. And he continues to put Destiny videos out to this day. And I was going in the comments one time because I was like, I swear I've seen this guy say he was quitting, right? So I go in the comments to one of his latest videos, and one of the guys asked me, it's like, I thought you hated this game. I thought you moved on or whatever. He's like, no, I don't hate the game. I hate the company, and I hope the company fails. I want them to crash and burn because they deserve it. And he's just like, taking a big crap on Bungie, which, I mean, I understand if you're upset with them, but wanting the whole company to fail and then everything underneath them fail, it's a bit much. Like, if you have that much hate, just move on. Should try to be happier,
Yeah.
So, I mean, for what you were talking about, that is a specific instance in which this guy wants the company to fail.
Right.
No matter what they do, he wants them to not succeed.
And, they have not had good management practices in the past, and I could see why some people see, Bungie that way. Another thing I noticed too with the negative videos, it seems to be very cyclical. Seems like every year, same time of year, we start to get the negative Bungie videos coming out. And that's probably because of the way content is released from Bungie, right? It's very cyclical in nature. So that may have something to do maybe with the cyclical nature of it happening the same time of year. It's like we get those negative videos coming out from YouTube to get those views and that advertising dollars. And it's like, here we go again. They did this before. They did this the same time of the year before the final shape had the same negative crap coming out.
I think a big part of that too is, people aren't taking breaks, they're trying to push through and play this game every single day of the year. And like Toastmate says in the video, one game is not meant to hold your attention for that much of your time. You should take breaks. Don't let yourself get so bent out of shape over it, because it's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's really not. And as far as like the YouTubers with the negative clips and everything, when I watch those on the recreation that I do, the streamer themselves typically isn't negative. A lot of the times, they might have like a negative picture to draw you in.
Right.
But usually the streamer themselves isn't negative, but the chat is negative. It's that hive mind mentality of,
Yes.
kick them when they're down. But like the streamer usually does a pretty good job at like trying to balance the good and the bad.
I know many streamers out there that Astrocross is a good example, right? He's one of the bigger Destiny streamers out there. And I noticed that when he's getting feedback for a video or when he's streaming live, and I've watched a few times he's streaming live, I've noticed that he obviously keeps the levity there. I mean, he'll tell people eat his ass and all this if they give him a comment or something towards him or whatever, and that's just his stick. But I like Astrocross. I don't like his editors. I think if you really watch his videos, his editors throw all these jabs in there. They try to hide it. Right.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
But Astrocross himself, I do like.
Yeah. they may just know what gets people to stay listening. Because, I mean, let's face it, on YouTube,
I'm sure they do.
It's all about that 30
I'm
seconds,
sure they
man.
do.
If you can get people to listen past that 30
Yeah.
seconds, advertisers love to hear that. And it's unfortunate. That's how the way we have to create, content for YouTube is to try to keep that small attention span intact, that, where people watching stuff.
Yeah.
And it's disheartening when you put a video out and you look at the stats and they leave after 20 seconds. I'm like, did you not know what the video was about? Am I that boring? I mean, what the hell, man? And that's a good point you make about taking a break, because I think it's important to take breaks. I mean, I have definitely been doing that before, this summer, before the new content rolls out. I mean, every time I do decide to play and jump in, it feels fresh to me. I mean, I'm going to probably play Destiny 2 more lightly until the new Edge of Fate drops in 3 weeks. I have a few things I'm working on, but I don't feel the FOMO I once did before Final Shape. I mean, I have a lot of irons in the fire between my business, 2 podcasts now, live streaming, Mrs. Gator, my family, my new grandson. And I think keeping a good balance between all of these roles is what it's all about in life. I mean, that's just my opinion, but I think people have to be careful not to be too obsessive. I used to be addicted to gaming, and I know that feeling when every time you wake up, all you're thinking about is, I need to do more bounties. I need to do more bounties. I need to grind more. I need to get my power up. I need to get my power up because I want to be the first guy in our clan to get the power level we need to get to, or I want to get that title completed, and you hyper focus on that stuff. And then I can tell the people that get burnout because, one, I don't hear them in the community anymore. They're not commenting anymore. And when I do hear them, they're totally apathetic. That's total burnout. I see it a lot where people just don't care. They see some new content from Bungie and they're like, I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'll play it. That usually just beams burnout to me. But I don't know. I mean, what else? You have anything to mention on that?
I know every year I take a cumulative of like a few months off throughout the year, adding up. And it's always the best when I come back from a long break. It feels so new and refreshed. I have stuff to go for again.
Yep.
And then once I get through all that, take another break. I don't like forcing myself to play.
I got you. Kingsley, did you have anything you wanted to mention on this topic?
I'm so sorry I didn't watch the video.
That's all right, man. I gave you a little time.
I got confused, and I somehow assumed like all the details were going to be given on the video, which you did a good job. But I was trying to kind of watch it without sound when you were talking, and I really feel like I need to so I can find out a better scope of it, because I feel like we're talking about 3 points here. We're talking about burnout. We're talking about video thumbnails, negative or not, and we're talking about just people being maybe in general negative about the game.
I think that was
me. I like having nuanced discussions.
I
that pretty
understand.
well hits it.
Yeah, and that video was kind of talking about several different things. You're right. Yep.
Was it? I saw a lot of parts where it supposedly was talking about thumbnails, and that's why I want to go back and watch it, because that's probably the one I would agree with the most. I'm really interested
when I first watched it, I actually thought about you a lot, Kingsley, just your take on things. I thought you would...
Sorry. I will... Oh, man. But I just still have good points on that, actually. I think I understand it enough. Now, I do want to say, though, just kind of go in reverse, I totally disagree that apathetic is not just from burnout. For some people it is, but I never get burnout in the game, but there are times where I'm kind of set my expectations low or apathetic about things. So apathetic is not just from burnout. So I do want to say that off the bat. That can be one reason, but it's not. If you're apathetic, it's not only because you played the game too much and you got burnout.
Okay.
So I want to say that. I mean, burnout is good to think about, because I sometimes shake my head at people that play the game so much and they grind and they grind and they grind. And they maybe really aren't the person that should be grinding a lot. They should know when to set their limits, like not get addicted to gaming. That's or realize that the loop in Destiny currently maybe isn't super interesting to grind and grind and grind. And maybe that'll be getting better with the next update. So people definitely always need to be willing to be introspective and look at themselves of like, are you getting burnout? And don't get burnout. I think we all agree on that no reason to get burnout, right? See what type of a player you are. I know other people kind of put bigger definitions for burnout, but I at least for me, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I mean, people can be apathetic about things that have never played it at all. So it's just not, apathetic doesn't only mean the only reason.
Well, okay. I might have been too general there. I get it. Yeah. But I that lack of energy usually is a sure sign that people just have played too much. Especially if I see like their face on screen or in a voice chat or something, just their mannerisms, I can usually pick up on some of that energy. But
I think it's just narrowing our opinion too small. It definitely can be a reason. But it doesn't even matter. It's just we should be careful about burnout either way.
It goes back to what Tajo said too. No game should be played all the time. You should spread your time out, and no game should hold your attention for that amount of time. It's just not healthy, right?
Yeah.
I say that as I used to be that person.
And then I'll get into about people being negative next, and then I'll talk about the thumbnails thing last. Okay. I think that's the most interesting one. I want to look at that video some more. I do think a lot of people are unfair about people are assuming that people are negative when they really aren't. I hear that so freaking often. And I think there's a lot of gatekeeping in the community and people that are worried. They're like, oh, it's my beloved game. And if people say something, not even they're trying to be negative, but they're giving news on something that's like a bad change or something, like, oh, they're being negative. No, that's not necessarily true all the time. It's, there's so many times I've seen it, even in our community, of people like white knighting and gatekeeping and doing little things like you can't say anything negative. Like you can't, even if it's just a data point, you know what I mean? Like,
I was negative tonight. I wasn't afraid to say it, but yeah, I get you.
But I don't even see it as negative necessarily unless.
I'm just confused.
Negative to me is about connotation.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm a very data-driven person, and I'll be like, well, I don't like this. There's this, this, and this. But does that mean I'm not going to play the game still? I kind of do it in a way like Aztecross does. He does a good job of saying what's not good, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're being negative unless you are trying to A, be complaining, B, try to get other people to stop playing the game, which I never do. He never does.
No.
See, there can be other reasons too. So I really want people to be careful with using the term negative in like a very big overall sense without really thinking like, okay, are they truly being negative? Like, for example, I used to and I won't mention some names too. I've even heard this about Aztecross, but like there's other names too. People like, oh, it's a negative video. It's a negative video. And then I watch, I'm like, I didn't really see
He's usually pretty objective. He's pretty usually objective.
Yeah. So that's an interesting thing. And of course, right now, and this is everything that I expected, this is about how the game is, and we're getting less content and this and that and whatever. And what, can we not talk about it at all? Can the streamers not talk about it at all? You know, can the newspapers not talk, you know what I meant, not the bloggers not talk about it at all? Mm-hmm. But then it gets into a fine line of, yes, these tags and these titles can be interesting. Now, I almost wanted to look at some examples because if it's like really bright red print and there's lots of exclamation marks and stuff. However, I worry that some people think things can be negative, such as this. And I'm not trying to pick on you, Gator, but you had a video in your stream that says, my worry for Destiny Frontiers. It's all in bold print 3 months ago.
Okay.
Couldn't some people take that as negative? I know you weren't trying to be negative.
I guess they could. But the video, like, I quit Destiny. Man, how many of those thumbnails did I?
Well, I haven't seen that many, honestly.
Oh no, it wasn't recently. It was if you still look around, they're out there in YouTube.
Well, of course. But who cares if there's 5 or 10 of those? It's just people can't say everyone's being negative if like then they're trying to use it on a video that just says my worry for this, and then they're like, oh, it must be another person that's being negative. You know what I mean? So I do want people to be fair.
Okay.
Because I know you're not being negative with your video that said my worry for Destiny Frontiers and all bold type. You know what I mean?
Okay. That's fair enough.
These are all, I'm all about fairness in life. You know what I mean?
I understand.
And
you don't think I know you by now, Kingsley? Come on.
Yeah. So I think a lot of times, I'm not saying either of us or you two guys or whatever, but there's so many people that are not fair when they say everyone's being negative and this and that and stuff.
Okay.
And a lot of times they're not.
Yeah, people overgeneralize a lot. That's an issue.
As long as they have good
Yeah.
constructive points when they're being negative or criticizing or whatever, then I like to listen. I like that conversation. But when I end up watching some of these videos and I'm like, man, that was a buzzkill. Those are the kind of videos that I think are just a downward spiral of energy.
And the funny thing is like, I don't even like to give attention to it. Like, in a way, I'm not saying we shouldn't have talked about this today, but like, unless we find like there's people that are like, I don't know, like multiple people in like a close community or something like that. But I am really curious to see some of these, like, because I would 100,000% agree on. I've always been annoyed with how YouTube works and things like that, where this was even 10, 15 years ago, where it's like, you got to have titles. And I've gotten to a point where I'm not upset about it anymore, where it's just kind of what it is. You know, it's unfortunate. Like, I hate that you had to write I hate like words in all caps, but you had to write in all caps, Todd, because that's just kind of a way to do
that's
videos.
That's thumbnails 101, man.
And I guarantee there would be a lot of people, maybe not a lot, but there would be people that be like, why isn't it all caps? It's a negative.
Yep.
It's my worry for Destiny Frontiers, but like, it's not really like that.
If I did it all on like lowercase, no one would even see the title. They just breeze by. Because think of the competition in thumbnails. Everyone has everything in bold and yellow and red, and it's crazy, man.
I think we should be aware. Yes, for sure, Tajo. And I want to see some of these bad examples of people being like, extra crazy with their titles and stuff. But at the same point, I've just been pragmatic and I've kind of moved on to and just ignored the titles.
Yeah.
Yep.
One
part
approach? About that video.
I put the video in chat, by the way, if you guys want to click the link on it.
Oh, okay.
That is a safe YouTube link.
Perfect. That I found kind of really interesting is the creator, Toad Smoothie. He creates a poll for one of his videos about the thumbnail.
Yep.
And he put 2 real suggestions and 2 fake suggestions, that the fake suggestions followed the trend of the negative red lettering background, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about that new Sparrow they released that could shoot things.
Right.
Was it like a Griffin or something like that?
Yeah. Yep.
And the 2 fake ones got the most views or most clicks because people, and he tells it quote said that seems like his true feelings about the situation.
Right.
Solely because it had like that more, again, negative connotation to the thumbnail. People thought that it was more emotionally driven, more his actual feelings. When he's like, no, not at all. It was a joke.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So I found that part of the video really interesting.
If they're worried, because then you'll get the real answer if you actually watch the videos. But that being said, people should still not make overly incorrect titles. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
click.
crazy.
So
Click.
I think you'll like that video.
Yeah. I
really do.
That was good.
Yeah. You did pop in my head when I watched that the first time.
And I feel like such a noob right now.
It's all right. we were a little rusty this
We'll just
week.
blame it.
But I understand.
We'll blame it on
everything
you
that
being
was said.
sick.
Yeah, there we go. Sinus issues. Okay.
Right.
Well, good conversation, guys. Good discussion as usual. Thanks, Taja, for bringing that to our attention tonight. That was a good video. I did watch it a couple times. I even made notes on it. So, but I do want to get to our questions from our community, and we'll do that right after this. Hey, Guardians, would you like to send a question for the show to us? There are 4 ways to do it. First, you can join our Discord server at discord.gg/Guardian Downcast. There's also a join link in our show notes down below. We have Guardians from all walks of life and all over the world, from new lights to day one players to hardcore gamers. There's also a channel labeled Podcast Questions where you can type in your question for the show. So come hang out with us. You can also email us with your question at guardiandowncast@gmail.com, or we also occasionally post about our upcoming show and guest, and you can respond there with your question at guardian_D_cast is our X handle. Finally, you can send us a voicemail with your question at guardiandowncast.com, and we might play it on the podcast. Think of it as talking with us right on the show. Thanks for listening, and later, Guardian. All right, this is the part of the show where we get our questions from you guys, and we did have one question for Mr. Tajo Trade here from Kilvin, one of our Patreon community members. He says, it would be good to know what build Tajo Trade is looking most forward to in the new expansion. Do you have a build in mind? What you're wanting to build, Tajo?
So I was thinking about this. I figured I'd give one for each class real quick.
Okay.
The one for Warlock is I'm excited to try the new changes for Wings of Sacred Dawn.
Yes.
Getting that restoration on kill and getting your weapons reloaded that aren't out and about on a solar kill. I feel like that's a great, mid-game, in-between type of situation, which is what I prefer doing. I don't really care about the boss phase. I like the in-between. For Titan, I really want to see how the whole Storm's Keep barricade works outside of our current artifact. So I'm looking forward to that. I also really want to use Point Contact Brace again because I love that exotic. And then as far as Hunter goes, I'm excited to see Radiant Dance Machines with Ascension actually working with everything like it's supposed to. Because that was the very limiting factor when trying to create a build for Hunter.
Okay. All right. 3 solid builds. Good. Thanks, Kilvin. Appreciate your question. We got some Destiny questions here from our community. These aren't this week. These are some that people entered in before we took our 2-week hiatus. So I wanted to make sure I answered some of these. Dorath, how has your thoughts changed, or how has your thoughts about the Edge of Fate changed since the changes were first announced and there was a lot of speculation to now as we are learning what changes are? And Todd the Gator, have a wonderful trip to the UK. I wish I could carry your bags. Since 2007 was the last time I went back home. Thanks for that question, Dorath. And yeah, man, it was a great trip. And you even mentioned in the chat earlier that the English don't take driving tests. What the hell? I saw these cars with L's on them. I figured that was the learning permit. But anyway, so how have your thoughts changed? I think we've kind of been brushing on that tonight. But what do you any comments on that? Any changes on how we're thinking about since we first heard about the Edge of Fate reveals? Is there any changes to how we're feeling going forward now? Maybe rephrase it that way.
I mean, mine's easy.
Well,
mine's about the same because I kind of set realistic expectations and stuff, and nothing has really been announced there's been a couple things that are slightly better and then a couple things that are slightly worse, but nothing's really changed the needle much for me.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same way. Like when I first heard everything, it was really overwhelming, and so I kind of just pushed it to the side and was waiting for more info to come. So I didn't really have a feeling one way or the other.
For me, initially I was like, okay, you have my curiosity, and now I'm like, why do they keep repeating the same stuff? And that last live stream took a little bit of faith from where I was thinking going forward, but I'm really hoping that the live stream next week about Portal and power progression and stuff, that's the stuff I want to know about. So maybe not for everybody, but that's the stuff that I get into with the game. So I'm looking forward to that part, and I hope it doesn't disappoint. I really don't. I hope they bring it. So we'll have to see. Mr. Dead Rabbit had a question. He goes, was going through some Strike playlist trying to complete the quest for the big bright dust and was bored of it, honestly. Was thinking to myself, what would make it more interesting and add to replayability? So do you think adding Banes to in-game bosses, not the ads, would make things more interesting? To take it another level, raid and dungeon bosses also? Or would it be too difficult for people? What do you guys think about the Banes? Would that make things more challenging, or do you think they are good as they are?
I mean, obviously it'll make it more challenging. I don't think putting them on bosses is really the best idea. I mean, it depends on what Banes they do, you know?
Right. He's saying
Like having,
instead of ads.
yeah, so like having a boss that can only be damaged by melee to break his shield or something, that puts,
It's a hefty
puts you
boy.
into a tight spot,
It
or
does.
having something that only or takes extra damage from like a certain element or something like it.
Right.
It would depend on the Bane itself.
Okay.
And then for me, yeah, I agree. I get bored of the strike playlists. I don't think Banes would make it that much more interesting. Maybe a little bit more. For me, a much more interesting thing would be a combination of like bringing in a rotating list of mini bosses halfway through the strike that are different each time, or running the strike backwards, or having a different path or something like that.
Yeah, and Fluffy.
I feel like that would be like good. Just real quick, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be like a good event type of activity, not necessarily an everyday type of activity.
I just want to mention that Fluffy commented on this. In my opinion, I would like it only if the Bane changed every phase of damage. What's a Bane again? I don't play a lot of strikes.
That's like
That's my point.
the modifiers that the enemies
Yeah, I know
have.
what they are.
Some will blow up if you don't kill them.
I'm just being a smartass. Sorry, I don't play a lot of strikes. Yeah, but
remember, there are other
Well,
things.
I didn't know how your.
But when solo ops comes,
Yeah, I just didn't know how your PvP brain, handled complexity.
Here we go. Okay, smartasses everywhere tonight. All right. Okay. All right.
Yeah, you just run around in a circle on a really small map and have fun.
Yeah.
I like shooting other Guardians in the head. All right. Okay. I think I'll call it there on questions for this week because we're running behind and we still need to add some music to our playlist, our time capsule. So thank you everyone who did put questions in. If you do want to give us a question for the show or for a future show, it's Podcast Questions is the channel to go to. We have a non-Destiny for like fun questions and we have Destiny questions. And then sometimes for our guests of the week. So just look for that there in our Discord if you want to, throw a question our way. Rasa Ghul has a question. He goes, what about continuing story for a strike? For example, the first time through the new Lake of Shadows is taken, you clear it, and now the Cabal take over for a bit. I'm all for changing up content like that. That would be more procedurally generated, like what Kingsley wants. So, yeah, I'm down. I'm up for that stuff. Yeah, definitely. Especially if there's some kind of storage or some kind of RAM storage in the background where I don't know what the word is, where stuff is, anything you do in the game affects future parts of the game. I love that part. I love that in any game. So, all right. Well, thanks everyone for putting your questions in this week. We'll try again next week and answer any more questions you may have. We still had a few in there still. We'll save to next week. But now, Mr. Fudd, take it away, sir.
Listen to the Guardian Downcast. Oh, it's a playlist. Yes. Oh, I've heard they've won awards for it and such.
Thank you, Mr. Fudd. Well, this is the final segment of our show. This is where we add music to our Guardian Downcast show playlist. It's a little sample of what myself and our guests like to listen to, and we invite you to listen to it as well. Just search for Guardian Downcast show playlist on Spotify. We also have the link now for Apple Music for our Apple users out there. It's always in our show notes if you ever want to follow along and click on it and see what we've been adding over the almost 6 years, which contains 1,239 songs now. Since you're our guest, Tajo, I'll start with you, man. What are you going to add to the playlist tonight and why?
Yeah, so I'm adding The Dirt I'm Buried In by Avatar. It's a metal song, but it's not like a heavy metal song.
Yeah, it was unique. I
really liked it. Yeah, I listen to literally anything.
Me too.
I mean, from classical to heavy metal, it doesn't matter.
I like it.
But the reason I chose this song is it's kind of like a comfort song. It's about how life will continue to just pile things on you over and over, and you just have to like keep pushing through and digging yourself out. And so when I start to feel overwhelmed or something, I'll listen to this song and I'm just like, hey, you've been in maybe not this exact situation, but something similar and you got through it. You're going to get through this and you're going to be okay.
I like it. I listened to it. I thought it was very unique for metal. And I listened to all kinds of progressive metal. And I mean, I'm like you, man. I listen to all kinds of stuff, but I have to, since I was in the UK and I actually saw these guys in concert, I'm wearing my official elbow shirt tonight. Anyway, can't see it there. It's a really cool t-shirt. I like it. Anyway, the song I'm going to add tonight, from them, this is probably the last elbow song I add in a while because I've added so many elbow songs to this playlist already. People are probably tired of hearing it, but, it's kind of weird. This song exemplifies kind of my trip to the UK. It's a song that reminds us to admire the beauty of even the smallest things in life. And the cool thing about my trip to the UK was that I was like a sponge. Not only was I noticing what was going on around me, but I was just grateful for having the opportunity to be in the UK, in a different country in our world. And I'm just sitting there, just taking it all in. And it's kind of what this song's all about. You know, I'm sitting there eating lunch at a roadside cafe amongst all the English people. And I was truly curious. I wonder what, this guy across here, I wonder what his average day consists of, compared to my average day in the United States. And as I've gotten older, like I said, I've learned to slow down my mind a bit and just sit there in the moment and admire the space I was in. So I added the song One Day Like This, of course, from my favorite band, and that is Elbow. What a great concert. Man, Guy Garvey was fantastic. If you guys have not listened to the group Elbow, I can't even explain the kind of music it is. It's unlike anything I've heard in the United States. I guess it sounds probably, I'm sure it has a certain type of music that it is. I would call it progressive rock probably, but it's very much on the light side. But they have heavier tracks too. And their music style is all over the place, which is what I love about them. They're very original as far as their music. But like I said, the song was One Day Like This. And it's from 2004. It's one of their older songs. So I hope you guys, if you have not had the chance to experience something like I did in the UK, I really hope you get the chance to do it in life. So that's my pick for tonight. Hey, listeners, I just wanted to take a minute to thank our sponsors and advertisers. Thanks to our Patreon community, we don't need to worry about that. So enjoy continued ad-free listening. And if you're thinking about giving back to a listener-supported podcast like this one, check out GuardianDownCast.com and hit that Patreon button to find out more. Later, Guardian. Speaking of taking a break, it was really nice to take a break from the live shows from last 2 weeks. And hopefully you got to see the 2 solo episodes I did for the last 2 weeks, where I had some special outtakes from some of our Patreon episodes, as well as first couple episodes of my new podcast, 50 Years Experience Required. If you haven't checked that out yet, do me a favor. Look it up in your podcast app out there and let me know what you think about them. There's 3 episodes out as of right now. But I got to admit, it feels really good to get back in the saddle again. We had some really great conversations this week with our guest, Tajo Trade. And I just wanted to mention that if you're enjoying what you're listening today, give us a review on the podcast apps out there that you listen to. You can go to GuardianDownCast.com and just press leave a review. Special shout out to the patrons of the show. Because of our Patreon community, we don't have to rely on any funds from advertisers, and I really think advertisers are ruining podcasts. That's my opinion, of course, but I really hate ads when I'm listening to a podcast. That's what makes podcasts special, is the fact that there aren't advertisements from some mattress company or whatever out there. I don't want to listen to that. I'm here to listen to the show. So I want to give a quick shout out to our Dungeon Champion patron. That would be Deadpool 1 Merc. A thank you to our Raid Boss patrons. That's Jealous, Frostbite, and Amazing Taco King. Like I said, all of these members give right back to our community and know that all of our funds go right back into supporting our community. And I think we have a pretty good, healthy Destiny community right now, and among other things, but I'm really happy with our community. And I love that we have a Patreon community that cares enough to help out with some of the funds that are needed to run it. So thank you. Some final thoughts to wrap up the show this week. It was another Destiny explosion of info, and hopefully you didn't fall asleep at the wheel while I was going over those changes coming to the Edge of Fate. And trust me, my head was hurting from doing all that math. I'm looking forward to hearing more about the portal system, progression, grinding, and power, and the more detailed in the next Bungie live stream tomorrow, Tuesday. If you're listening to this when we release our normal show on Monday, Kingsley and I will be back next week live on Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern to go over what we thought about that, plus anything else that's new in this week's, or next week's, I should say, TWID, This Week in Destiny as well. I really hope you can join us in the conversation. If not, thank you for lending your ears on your favorite podcast app out there. So what do you think so far? Has the latest information made you excited or more skeptical about the new Edge of Fate, which comes our way in less than 3 weeks, by the way? Let us know in our Discord at discord.gg/GuardianDownCast. Give us some feedback in our GDC feedback channel, and don't forget to say hi while you're there, by the way. Our community has always been very welcoming to all our new members, so don't hesitate to jump in with like-minded Destiny gamers out there. You can also give us feedback via email, guardiandowncast@gmail.com, or you can send us a voicemail and tell us, what comments you have or what questions you may have. That's at guardiandowncast.com. Well, that's a wrap. Another episode in our collection for our new listeners out there. We have 309 other episodes with interviews from gamers all over their community, talking Destiny and whatever on our roundtable episodes. So take a look at that, especially if you're just finding out about us. And if you like what you hear, just tell your friend out there, hey, check out guardiandowncast.com. Special thanks to my co-host, Kingsley Mack. You can find him in our Discord. I'll have his links in the show notes down below as well. If you want to follow him, you can contact me at Todd the Gator all across the socials and gaming platforms. You can also reach me via email at guardiandowncast@gmail.com. Don't forget about my new podcast, 50 Years Experience Required, and that's 50 years experience required. And if you search any of your podcast apps out there, it should pop right up. It's available everywhere. Remember, as you're playing Final Shape, Ride of the Nine, take breaks, get outside, and touch grass. Who's your guardian? I love that. I love that. It's a good, nice play on words. Hey, everyone, remember, we're Guardian Downcast, your stories, your community, and your destiny. And be good to your fellow Guardians in the Destinyverse.
Defeat is not surrender, Guardian.
Thank you all so very much for listening. And later, Guardian. All right. Well, I wanted to thank everyone who stopped by tonight in the chat, whether you're on Twitch or whether you're on YouTube or whether you're here in the Discord. We wanted to thank everyone for stopping by tonight. It truly means a lot for you guys to spend your time and lend your ears to an actual live show. And thanks again to everyone who contributed to the conversation tonight, because that is definitely the part I love about live shows. As long as we have people chiming in, I'll probably still keep doing them. So Kingsley Mack will be so burnt out on them by then, but I don't know. I have to put him on the payroll or something.
Not burn out on live shows.
You like live shows? All right, good. But I want to thank everyone who came out tonight. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, hit the like button. If you enjoyed the show, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I usually put snippets of our podcast as well. Not this week, because I didn't do something right on the show prep, but you can, like I said, you can always watch the replay of this if you're just finding out maybe you're across the pond right now and it's too late to watch us live. But you can join our Discord community as well. It's discord.gg/Guardian Downcast. It's right there on the screen. And you can give us more feedback. You can ask questions for the show or just hang out and talk with our members. There's an LFG, a Destiny Talk channel. There's so much more. Just go to guardiandowncast.com. You can hear all about our back episodes. Send us a voicemail, give back to the show. I mean, it damn near does everything but your taxes. So check it out. It's our brand new website, guardiandowncast.com. So Tajo, before we go, man, do you want to give a shout out to anybody or you want to tell people where they can reach you out there in the world?
Yeah, sure. I actually quit social media probably like a year ago. So if you want to find me,
find him in the Discord.
If you want to find me, just find me here in the Discord. Tajo Trade. You got a question or something, need some help, I'll do my best to work it out and help you out.
Okay. Thanks, Tajo. Appreciate you coming on tonight, man. That was a lot of fun. Very good conversations tonight. Kingsley Mac, where can people find you, sir?
No, you don't need to find me anywhere. I'm in the Discord, all the Discords, but love being here and presenting the information and talking to all you guys and raiding with y'all. As Kingsley Mac.
Double M? No, I'm sorry. That's somebody else. Sorry.
That did not go well.
Miss you, Fud. Miss you, Fud.
Guardian Downcast. Guardian Down. It's a Guardian Downcast. Non-copyright.